righty, where are we? Here we go. Let's see what don't belong here. Peace, nephew Jay. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can drop this link right now. If I'm doing it right. Yeah, that's too much. Let me take this off. It is too much. Okay, let me go here, go here, go here. Nope, not here. There we go. There's the link. Come on in the room. Peace, nephew. Peace, Marcus, y'all. I just dropped the link. I wish I knew how to pin it. Let me see. No, I don't. I honestly don't. Yeah, I don't. I wish I did. I'm just gonna have to keep going back and forth. But I did drop the link. But it's getting better, y'all. I really appreciate y'all coming in. So let me I want to get into the conversation. Let me find out where I'm at, and then we can start rolling. Because I want to get into global. Wait a minute, I think I'm double talking too. Yeah, I probably am. Okay, so I want to get into this conversation of global distribution, and we were going to start off with some of this telework, because we know a lot of telework is going on. I'm not sure if y'all can hear me, but we know a lot of telework is going on in the community with the networking and teleworking in the society with telecommunication. And we know that people are doing a lot of telemarketing. We know that the world is doing a lot of buying and distributing, buying clothing, be it groceries, be it ordering shoes, ordering clothes, just the whole thing of shopping online now. So this takes a lot of stress off of the people, and it's taking a lot of stress off of getting out here now. But at the same time, it does make it easier on the consumer. So we say, but at the same time, what are we not saying? So we're saying there's not enough jobs out here, and we are creating jobs. How so though? Because we have a lot of stores that are closing due to online shopping. And at the same time, we're saying that AI is taking over and that there's no jobs being created. So at one hand, we're saying there's no jobs being created. At the same token, we're saying that all of the stores are being closed due to no one's out here shopping. There's no money. There's no money for people to shop. There's the economy is going down. The economy is in deficit. So we need to take a look at what's really going on. So when we talk about these issues, we're talking about global distribution. Now, when we look at that, then we have to look at what's honestly what's being traded. So if we talk about trading and trade marketing, this is what we get into when we say telemarketing, telework. That's telemarketing. And so America was built off of trade and the trade system. Well, welcome to the room. How you doing, nephew? Are you praying? I can't hear you. We can't hear you. Are you on mute? Let me see. Ooh, wrong C. I'm getting better. Let me go to this. Not that. Let me go to this. Let me see. Not meeting chat. That's the wrong chat. Let's go to this one. Okay, where's your mic? Do you have your mic cut off? Your microphone, did you turn your mic off? You might have to go out and come back in, and when it shows for your mic and your video, click both because your microphone's not on. I don't even see it on the floor. I see the camera, but I don't see your microphone. Right. I don't see your right, I don't see your video. I don't see your mic. Do you see your microphone on the bottom of your screen? On the bottom of your screen where it say video, you should see a microphone. You don't see it? It's on the left of your video camera, on the bottom of your screen. You should see a microphone and a video camera. It should be right on your left-hand side. All right, so you connected to the audio. Okay, try it again. Okay, so you connecting. Might take a minute. Excuse me. I'm trying to find my room. Okay, let me All right, here we go. All right. All right, now I can say peace to everybody in the room. So I want to say peace to Brass. I want to say peace, Gemini. Okay, hey there, nephew. Let me say peace to everybody in the room. Peace, Black Meal. Peace to the round table gang. Yay. Peace, nephews. Peace, Marcus. Peace, nephew. Peace, sister. Peace to all my mods. Peace, Brass and Gemini. Right. And so let me get back to this. So I want to welcome you to the floor and welcome to the panel, nephew J. And so anybody else, I did drop the link, and I want anybody that want to come up, please, by all means, come join the panel, join in this conversation, because again, we're talking about global distribution, and I want to get into again how telemarketing and global distribution. So I want to start back into America being built off of sorry. I want to start off again where America was built off of the trade. We know how the trading and the incoming and the exportation of trade up until still today, America's trade system, how we still do importing and exporting of trade of goods and supplies and what have you. Now, my question is, since you're here, I have somebody to question. With all of the immigration that is going on in America, how do you see the imports and the trade market playing a role in this today?
That's a kind of hard one there. That's a kind of hard one there.
Right, because that plays a role with that being the imports, exports. We get a lot of our trade from this very system. A lot of our fruit, a lot of a lot of our fruit do come from America, but a lot of our fruit don't come from America. A lot of our seasonings don't come from America. A lot of stuff that we own right now say made in China. A lot of the things we know very much so much so that I sat on a board. I was a board secretary for a while, right? And then one of the board members, I'm just gonna say it like that. One of the board members left. Not just left because he was a board member, but he left because his company was going to China. Now, a lot of people that work these big industries and whatnot and what have you, because he was just a board member for the agency I worked for. And as a board member, a substantiating board member for the agency I worked for, right? His company was going to China. So we know places like what was that agency in Milwaukee, the real big one on 35th, not 35th, on Capitol. A.O. Smith, was it A.O. Smith?
Yeah, L. Smith.
Did they move to China?
Yep.
All right then. So companies like that employ millions or hundreds of thousands of people, when they go to China, that's import export, is it not? And we're
Yes,
not
it
talking
is.
about food. We're not talking about food. But now that we are talking about food, okay, what are we saying?
They're putting shit in our food. I mean, stuff in our food.
Well, not just that, but I'm saying with this many people here, wherever we was getting it from, does that pay? Does that cause an effect now? Because are we getting it now? If they over here, whatever we was getting, can we still get that?
No.
Oh, we got a problem because that ain't what they telling you. That ain't what they telling you. Welcome to the channel again, my co-host Drea. Come on in. What do you think about
Right.
that?
Um, it's a deep topic because it's not just the import exports that's being affected, it's also jobs being affected. Thousands of jobs are lost. Millions of jobs are lost yearly because these companies are,
Shut.
like you said, going overseas and employing people overseas um for lesser wages. So it also impacts our ability to feed ourselves. Like it's a problem that we're gonna have going on for a while. Um, and I think it's time that we learn to start being more self-sufficient. Hold on 1 second, I'm doing two things at once here. I
I
kind of came in
understand.
late. I kind of came in late, so I only caught part of what you guys were saying, but so far that's my take on it. Um, Not only are we getting
Wait a
food that's
minute.
not even as um nutritionally efficient, we're also losing jobs in the process. Imports and exports, if people don't know how that works, when you import your food is usually going to be higher because we're outsourcing. So that raises the cost of the food as well, as if we were just growing it here, which we do grow our food here, but we export a large amount of food that we grow over to other countries, and we import a large amount of our food. So it's hurting our pocketbooks, it's hurting our health because the food isn't nutritionally is not nutritionally sound. Most of the food that we get, they are undergrown and they mature on the ships, the airplanes, the trucks before they get to the supermarkets. Um, they're sprayed down with all kinds of pesticides and grown with pesticides that impact our health, causing cancers
Mhm.
and autism and autoimmune diseases. And then not only that, but it impacts our pocketbook twice because many people are losing jobs. Farmers are being cut out. Um, it's a mess. It's a mess. We seriously need to figure out what to do as a people. This is where community comes into play. I was watching a TikTok earlier about a young lady that was living in Uganda, and she was pretty much telling about how, I mean, when you look at her village is beautiful. You go out there, they got soursop trees, they got mango trees, they got
Mhm.
yams, they have goats and cows and everything that they need, they're able to grow themselves. And if they don't have anything, they go to their neighbor and they get it. So it's just it's a I don't want to say a four-pronged problem, but it's like 24 problems. There's a lot of problems with what's going on. Because not only have they, geez, affected our food, but they affected our ability to work together because they have taught us and groomed us to be so individualistic and so separate from everybody that even if anything happened, we don't know how to come together truly as a community to support each other.
Okay, Gemini, thank you for coming. So, what do you think about the what's going on with the immigrants and this export and import of the food distribution at thus far, and how it might be impacting us this far with the export and the import part so far?
Hmm. Well, I don't have any. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about. I don't know about that part. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, because I don't see me. I popped out some kind of way. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the question is, what do I think about these about immigration and import and export?
Well, the overall question is because we know America was partially built off of import and exports, right? And so we're the bigger topic, the whole topic is about global distribution. So now we know that the imports and exports of Americans' distribution contribution for our economy is imports and exports. That is part of our business operations. A lot of our businesses have moved and went out of the country. We know this.
Okay,
We know the
so
impact. And so again, now with a lot of what's going on with everybody coming into America, and we are known to do a lot of exporting and importing whatever it is for as food and or work and or they say it's easier to make the products on the outsources and then import them in, right? And so with everybody coming in, how is this affecting us? That's what I'm asking.
okay, okay. So I'm confused because I thought this was about e-commerce, but now
It
you're
is.
saying we're starting this topic off with global distribution and as
This
it
is
pertains to
e-commerce.
immigration.
You don't see, no, this has nothing to do with that. This is e-commerce. Hold
Okay,
on.
so
You have to look at it
so
as a total. Hold on, we have
okay,
another one. Keep on
okay.
asking.
So no, because see, because to me, there's a few things, right? There's a huge separation for me. So
Welcome,
for
Brianna.
me, immigration right now, at this very moment, is not really impacting imports and exports. That is something completely, that means that what that looks like to me is something completely different. What immigration to me is impacting are benefits and programs as opposed to imports and exports. Because right now, all they're really doing is going to go get mediocre jobs, delivery jobs.
No,
I don't.
I'm
So for
sorry.
me, the impact, because that was your question to me, right? Your question to me
Okay.
was, okay, so I'm answering it the way I heard it. So I'm saying
Okay.
to you that for me, those are two separate issues. Important exports are not really, I don't see at this point in time just where they are. They're just entering into our economy, and they got a temporary SSN social so that they can work, and that's what they're doing. A lot of them are just have blended into the fabric, and they are working. Now, import and exports are a different set of factors. So maybe if they were here a little longer, then I could see how it could affect that portion of our industry. But right now, I just don't see that. I don't see the correlation.
Okay, let me make it the correlation. The
You
correlation
can make my
is
correlation. But you can
Okay, no,
correlate.
I'm not trying to make you wrong or me right. I'm just trying to open it up so you can understand me, because I don't want nobody to misunderstand what I'm saying, because I want to put it on a better focus, because I might have a problem breaking minds down for people to understand what I'm saying. That's all I'm doing. So what I am saying is, when we do exports or imports, we have to have somebody on one end of there, right? If J. Roan is supplying me with bones, and I got Brass supplying me with skin, right? Then I have to be the one that has hair. But if J. Roan come over here where I'm at, and Brass come over here where I'm at, then I no longer have nobody to supply me with skin, or nobody to supply me with bones or hair, because all of them over here with me, right? And they looking for jobs over here with me, where we was all doing trade back and forth. But we can't do that no more because they over here with me. But at
Okay, and I
first,
still don't
we
see the
were
correlation.
building.
So I don't see the core for me, Sakina. I'm just there. I don't see the
No,
correlation of
because
that.
I'm
I
not
don't see
focused,
where we're
really.
going
I'm
with
not
that.
focused on the people. I'm saying America was built off of trade. They were trading with the Scottish, they were trading with the Europeans, they were trading with China, they were trading with the Britons, but now, if everybody's coming here, who do we trade with? Because the trades are no longer there to build. There's no, the things we were
Okay, but
trading
those people
on the
did not
resource.
build anything for us to trade with in the beginning. If they're immigrants,
Oh,
they were
those are
they
the
were not the
people.
people who were not in the manufacturing industry, the distribution industry. Those were the workers. So the
Okay, well, the
workers,
distribution has to come from a source.
yes, but
In
it wouldn't be them.
longevity.
Yeah, it
In
wouldn't be the people who
longevity.
were illegally coming over here.
I'm not worried about the people per se. I am talking about as a whole. I'm not even really focused on the immigrants per se. I'm speaking of the trade as a whole. We know for a fact a lot of companies in America shut down to go to China. I know for myself that the one we was talking about in Wisconsin, lost over 300 and some odd thousand jobs. We
Okay,
also
so
know
corporate
that Harley
jobs then. Okay,
Davidson lost a
okay.
whole bunch
Now
of
I'm with you
jobs.
though. When you
I'm
say
not saying, but
corporations,
listen to what I'm saying as a whole, Gemini.
no,
The
that's not a
reason why they
whole
left
though.
was
That's
because
a
of
sector, a industry. But when you break it down and say corporation, then I can follow you in what industry and what sector that we're referring to. When you say
the
jobs went
sector was
overseas, we
jobs.
lost jobs. Then I can
Exactly.
understand that.
And also, okay, so now when the jobs left, the reason was because it was cheaper to make the pieces over there and charge America more money in the imports. And who did that? Americans.
Well, the tariffs, yeah. I
No,
mean, I get it.
there's not behind. America went to China with their money and their company. Am I right?
They did, but it was
Okay.
but it's based upon exchange. It's not just
Thank
this is
you.
what we're
And
going to
that was
spend,
that
this
not
is
my
what we're going to
topic?
do,
Was it
and
not
then
the
we're going to do
import and
and then
export
we'll
of
give it back.
exchange? Thank you. But that we saying the same thing, Gemini.
We okay.
Mm,
It was
Okay.
import and export. That's exchange.
Okay. That's not the exchange I was talking about, but
But
it's
it
what
is.
no, I'm not. I'm
no,
talking
it
about
wasn't.
Okay,
yeah.
import and export is still fair exchange, no robbery. Why? Because it's the same person. That person went to China to beat the system. What system? Come on. Because he didn't
The
sell his
American
business.
system.
He took his business to China. Hold that thought. Brass, welcome to the panel. Come on
Hey,
here,
Brass. Hey, Jerome. Hey, Drea.
Hey, how you doing? How you
Hey,
doing?
how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Come
How's
on,
everybody
Brad.
doing?
Yeah, I was letting y'all. I was just listening to y'all iron it out. I don't like to jump in the middle of.
No, we ain't ironing it out. We ain't having no problem. I'm just
Oh no,
trying to make
no.
sure
I
I'm
mean iron
clear.
it out. No, I mean
Yeah,
iron it out respectfully. If anything else,
yeah,
I'd have said argue. Y'all
yeah.
ain't arguing. Y'all just
No, she
ironing
already
it out.
called me the troublemaker.
Yeah, y'all just ironing it out.
Well, you should just blame that on me.
You do call me a troublemaker. I'm not gonna say that not to.
Gemini. Don't be listen, Gemini don't start no trouble. Don't start none, won't be none.
Right,
Shut
see,
up.
I said she called me the troublemaker.
Mm.
Anyway,
Okay,
Brad.
but I wanna ask a question because I'm more or less of listening to y'all on what y'all saying as far as the export import. So
Okay.
what you were explaining, I'm trying to grasp it in a different way. So
All right.
if just say, okay, all the immigrants came over here,
All right.
and we're gonna say the black folks had the mom and pop stores, and they were getting, how can I put this? I want to put it a different way, but I'm trying to figure out how to say it. But more or less is that all of them sold all the immigrants their stores. So,
Does that make a difference? I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but that's not gonna make a difference if, let's say this, if we were getting all the mangoes,
okay,
if we were getting all the mangoes from Portugal, okay,
right.
and everybody from Portugal came here, how are we
Right.
gonna get mangoes?
You ain't gonna get no mangoes.
That's all I'm saying, bottom line. That's all I'm saying. I'm not calling immigrants and saying this and that. My point is, if all the immigrants came here, but we're getting trading and importing and exporting mangoes from Portugal, how do we get mangoes now that Portugal is in America? That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Okay. I'm
All
catching
right,
on.
thank you.
I'm catching on.
All
Because
right.
I kind of threw that just when y'all was saying it. Because I'm listening to her too. She making some valid points. I'm listening to her too.
Yeah.
But as far as because I'm noticing now that they're doing a lot of importing here with the immigrants in busloads, just dropping them off. So
They look for jobs.
yeah.
And I don't have a problem with that. That's not the problem. The problem is global distribution. So let's talk about, but we got to understand distribution so we can get to global distribution. Okay?
Okay.
And so I'm just trying to clear up the distribution part so we can understand what we're talking about. All right?
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry, Brash. Now come on in. Get to it.
It's an interesting question. And we can only speak hypothetically because there's no way the entire Portugal would just come to the United States. But let's just say it was a obscene amount per se.
Okay.
I think when people look at globalization, and it's good that you said globalization. Trade doesn't really work anymore directly from one place to another. So for example, like one, it would depend on the goods, right? So like a fruit or a textile or something like that. But there's a lot of automation. There's a lot. So let's say hypothetically 80% of the immigration. And then also let's say there's a difference between immigration and migrants too. Because you were saying dropping off busloads. Migrants is a bit of a different thing. But there's international supply chains too. Right. So sometimes the production of these goods, they don't just involve, let's say hypothetically, Portugal directly to the United States. Most times it involves a lot of countries. So even if one country has like a crazy labor shift, the supply chain, so most of the supply chain is automated anyway. So it'll adapt, and it'll just reallocate production from other places or to other places. There's substitution, certain price adjustments. But as far as specialized goods, you look at import, you look at export, a little different. Let's say if a lot of people come here from Portugal, like you said, and we're discussing mangoes, it's not always like a death knell. I know it's not always a death knell. In some cases, it'll be kind of good because these people want their home food too, so they're gonna figure out a way to get it. I mean, the United States, it's really a demand in that thing. Now I understand what you're saying. Trust me, because I was one of those people in 2018. I was completely against NAFTA, completely for USMCA, and I understood about the jobs. I think they lost a little over 5 million jobs in like 10 years to other places. But with the world, shout out to HIT, with the world moving more towards automation and artificial intelligence and things like that, it's never like a literal thing like me and you. You know what I mean? When you're looking at it on a global scale, it just doesn't affect it that way. Now you're looking at imports, exports. It's a nuanced conversation, but I hate to say it, we'll still get it. The United States has a funny way of being able to still have access.
Okay, but so to this degree, or I'm not gonna say degree, but to this point, you don't see us moving more and more and more forward towards global distribution, where the world is going more toward less we're going more toward global shopping, global. I want to.
No. Yeah, most certainly.
I'm saying I'm not just really. I was using that for the smaller look of it for a domino effect, maybe, because again, we do a lot of importing, exporting. Now that was just a small synopsis of it, but again, we do have to look at. A lot of people are doing a lot of growing their own. A lot of we're growing our own vegetables, we're growing our own fruits, we're growing our own this, but we have a lot of vegetables and fruits that don't have seeds, and we're talking about all of this, and to the point where we have a few marketing strategies. Everybody want to get into the marketing of this and marketing of that, and farming, right? And everybody wants to be farming, but everybody don't know how to analyze soil. They don't understand the truth in analyzing soil, and right. And so it's easy to say, I wish I had your job. Oh, it's that easy. So when we was getting into this telework, I want to really get into that word too, because words are power, and people always want to talk about telework as a part of global distribution. It's easy to tell somebody about their work when it's not your job.
I agree.
Right? That's a high person sitting in a sidekick driver. They'll tell you about your work, but it's easy to tell somebody you can just put a seed in the ground and you can grow. You don't know nothing about dirt.
True.
Everything don't grow in dirt because it's dirt.
I think that to say the world is going more global, I mean that's just factual. That's not even I don't even think that's a risky statement. I think we're already there with the amount of e-commerce we have. A lot of these kids with the sneakers, these sneakers aren't coming from the United States. These are overseas companies. You look at the commercials at the Super Bowl, Temu and things like that. So we're moving. I wouldn't say we're moving. I would say we're already there. These markets now and these supply chains, they're connected globally. This is not like Ohio to New York to California to this. It's more like India to Kenya to Japan to New York now. So yeah, with e-commerce, social media marketing, when you're clicking on those links to buy stuff from whatever site, let's say you like a shirt or something like that, chances are it's not coming from somewhere in the United States. It doesn't originate somewhere in the United States. So I agree with you, but I don't think that that's a lot of shock. That's not a shock. A lot of that stuff with, like, even with Amazon even now, and I know I hate this generalization or this stereotype, but take any business that you have. Let's say you have a car loan, a bank loan, anything where you would need a customer service. When you call customer service, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be speaking to somebody from the United States. If you call DoorDash and you got a problem with your order, or Uber Eats and you got a problem with your order, your problem in Missouri is being sorted out by somebody outside of the United States. So even with the call centers, I saw how you brought that up with call centers, but then also Sakina, my queen Sakina-Ra, the brands are becoming global. You know, it's more now, like, if anything, the branding is way more global. I always use the Super Bowl as a barometer, even with some of those commercials. And then with you, what I was trying to say about cultural products, immigration has been happening in the United States since forever. But one of the beauties of it is that the fact that they're here, it doesn't stop them from still wanting not the jollof rice from Main Street. They want the jollof rice from their home. They want the mangoes from their home. They want a certain pudding from their home. So all trade, all business is based on supply and demand. So if you think that they're not trying to get that back from their home country, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't think, my main point is this: I don't think it's a strong statement to say that we're moving. I think it's stronger to say that we're moving towards globalization than to say that we are already in it. I think we're already in it. I think we're in it. I think we've been in it for quite a while now.
I think we've been in it for quite a while, but I believe that I believe it's finna take over even more so than ever, because I see too much getting shut down in our faces, and I don't think we're paying much attention.
What have you seen that shut down that triggered that for you?
I see a lot of stores being shut down, and they saying due to theft. A lot of the stores is being shut down, and a lot of them are supposed to be community stores, or they were built for communities or based off of communities. And so with that being the basis of it, I don't understand how they constantly being shut down. Now this being Walmart, I don't care what we say about it. Walmart shut down Kmart, and it took a long time for the big K to get closed. You know, the big K been around for years. Kmart hung out longer than, well, Kmart hung out, we're gonna have to say that. Sears and Roebuck wasn't even together. And when Sears and Roebuck came together, and then all of a sudden it just was Sears, and then Kmart was still there. But all of a sudden Walmart took over, and the yellow dot just bounced all around, and the K was gone. Right? And then Walmart and Sam Club became 2 in 1. And then CVS came. Right? And truthfully, Walmart was a spinoff of Myers Thrifty Acres, if we're gonna be real about it, right? And so now all of a sudden Walmart has its share of lawsuits and whatnot, but the point is Walmart was built for the community, like Woodman's. And so now Walmart is about to shut down. Now I get that you have to, if you really want to be a Mike Tyson and get your real street battle in, you can go to Walmart and get your training in, and battle out with one of the people in there. But Walmart, I get it. But at the same time, Walmart was for the community built Walmart, and it's getting shut down. Even Target been there just as long as Kmart. Walmart is a newcomer, but Target been there. Target about to get closed down too. So how are we building jobs and closing jobs all at the same time? So these are the things. Even then, when the last time you seen a corner store? The corner store is the gas station, and even then, we saying don't drink and drive, and you can buy some gas station you can get a 6-pack of beer. I done seen stores to this day you can go in there and get a pint of beer, a pint of beer. You can get a half pint of this, a 6-pack of that, 5 pound of this, 5 pounds of chicken, 2 loaves of bread, and
Quick Trip.
yeah, and some salmonella on the way out the door, all at the same time. I've never and you can pull up Fat girls heaven. You can pull up on it. You can just sit in the car and just roll your window down. Say, let me get a 5-pound bag of frozen chicken wings. And look here. I ain't never in my life seen it, but I seen it. I've even seen everything, but I saw that too. It's real out here. And they closing them down. Well, they need to close that down. But I'm just saying, they closing all the this is what I'm saying. So when we talk about global distribution, it's coming before us because of all the things they are not saying. And what are they not saying? They have us focus on the wrong thing. And what is the wrong thing? Again.
Well, let's stay right there where you was talking about Walmart, right? And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I like to stay right with what I know. Like I receive proxies and stuff for different things I'm invested in, and one of the things that they were talking about Walmart specifically, COVID had an effect on this world that I don't think people were paying attention to the direct consequences of COVID. I don't think they were paying attention to the effects that were going to happen 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line. And one of the major things is Walmart. Walmart now is kind of karma almost. When Walmart moved into a town, I'm from Ohio, so I can still remember when we got our first Walmart. And I watched a lot of the stores on Main Street and a lot of the stores on downtown and things like that. They just shut down. So Walmart became a community store kind of by force. Wherever they moved in, a lot of the smaller stores that sold hammers or a lot of the smaller stores. If I'm in New York and New Jersey, we still got corner stores. I do not have to ever go to a grocery store and I will be just fine because my local corner store still has everything. But in a place like Dayton, Ohio, we still basically survived off of the grocery markets, Kroger's and Piggly Wiggly's, things like that. But my point is, Walmart got beat up by the same thing that they did. They came into a market that they had a lot of power in, and then when COVID happened, what market took over? Amazon. And once Amazon took over, because you couldn't go to the store. You couldn't get up and go out and go get something if you needed it. But you could still sit in your house, in your phone, order whatever you needed. And if you did need something from the store, remember, then what businesses took off? Instacart, DoorDash, Uber Eats.
See, there we go.
So now you're in a situation where, if you own a business, any business owner that's listening to the sound of my voice knows that the most major expense in any kind of business is labor. And then the second probably largest expense is leases and rent. So while they might hide it as theft, they might also, I would say more or less, it's a lot of underperforming stores because people aren't going to the store anymore. You don't have to. You'll pay that little extra $5 or $7 for somebody to bring the groceries to you. And then now, when Walmart came in and shut out all these small stores, the whatever stores that you can name, and they just became the one big store in the area. Well, now Amazon has all of that stuff. And then when COVID happened, a lot of I think Walmart kind of realized too, well, we can move the majority of our business online. People will still buy it. You can order groceries. You can order the same way you could do it from Instacart to order from Walmart. You can order your groceries directly from Walmart.com and get your groceries done that same way. But when you start talking about on these, look how big Walmarts are. So imagine how many employees you got to put in that place. Imagine the lease, the landlords, the rent increases, the
overhead in general increases.
Just the overhead in general. And then you go back to what you said, the supply chain.
Come on.
Sometimes in order, look, there's words in business that that people don't like to pay attention to because they have more of an employee mindset. But when you own a business, you're constantly, the thing that keeps you up at night is streamlining your supply chain, your operations, and your logistics. Constantly, because that's where you build your profit mainly, unless you're just gonna rate. It's not always I'm gonna take a shirt and turn it from $5 to 10. No, how can I sell that same $5 shirt with 3 employees instead of 6? How can I figure out a way
and
to
how can a
close units
customer get a
themselves?
discount too, though, Brass? Right.
Right.
So you
Right.
throw
Yeah.
in that. Yeah, you throw in that because if you do it direct warehouse, right? So if you go from customer or if you go from import export to warehouse to shipping to the customer, then you save costs all the way around, and that's a whole better deal.
And that's where we get into global or big bulk distribution. And this is where Drea, I can ask you to pick this ball up a little bit.
I was just about to say if I could just add a couple things just to piggyback off of what Brass was saying. I completely agree. This is karma for Walmart because Walmart's strategies for how they became as big was really, really dirty. They undercut a lot of the mom and pop shops that were in there, the long-standing stores with the lower prices. So as far as me, I don't think Walmart will completely disappear. I really don't. Much of what, in my
Walmart
honest
ain't going
opinion,
nowhere. Yeah.
in my honest opinion, because they do have Walmarts overseas as well. So they're not just here in America, they're overseas as well.
And then
So
they turned into a big box store. So anytime you can get things, anytime you can get things in bulk, you winning. Not to mention that because if you go to, you can get buy in bulk if you went to Amazon and signed up for the business account. They start selling stuff completely different. Then Walmart looks like a full corporation that it is is, right? Because it's semi customer base, semi corporate base.
Take it real fast. That's what I was trying to explain earlier when I was talking about the mom and pop stuff. I just didn't know how to word it. But what she just said is exactly what I was talking about. And that's why they start selling. Yeah. There you go.
So
she said
the trend to going from brick and mortar buildings to online was actually set in progress at the inception of the internet, which is where when Amazon started in 1998 or 1999, stores were just starting to go digital for the most part, for lack of a better term. But the thing is, we as consumers, nobody thought that, it'll be possible, these stores will be around for generations to come. Everybody said that about Boston Store and Macy's. They're closed now. They closed now. So the inability to be flexible and to actually try and keep up with the trends is what's causing a lot of these stores to go under. If you ever walked in the mall, oh my goodness, I was looking at Brookfield Square a couple weeks ago. Sometimes I go there to Prospect, and Sakina knows Brookfield Square here was one of the biggest malls and longest standing malls, and it's empty. Like, it's so empty. We went there. I'm sorry. I went there twice. I went there around Christmas time because people like to come and take pictures with Santa during Christmas, and that mall was empty. It was a ghost town. Like, if tumbleweeds could have been tumbling, tumbleweeds would have been tumbling up and down the hallways. It's a lot of stores that are closing.
Not just that, but that was the only left mall that you could still horseback ride in the wintertime and catch that carriage ride on with the horse and the carriage. That was the only ride. That was the only you could still do that.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, you could still do that at that mall in downtown. Other than downtown, you could still catch that carriage ride with the horse and the carriage in the winter. That's the only place you could do that in front of Dave's, where you get to remember the days where on Tuesday where you get the $50 hamburger and you build from there. Right. That you still do that there.
But now, Sakina, you see how you talk about stuff like that. And I don't mean to just damn the whole generation Z or X or wherever we at this point. They don't have sentiment. and sentiment has no place in business. They don't remember, you
Right.
know, the riding of this. You know, I still remember going in front of Sears and Kroger asking for a quarter to ride the horse in front of the store.
Mm-hmm.
While, you know, I mean, I was a young at that time. But now, before we start crying for Walmart, I want to be clear about something.
No, I don't want to cry for
Oh no,
Walmart.
I'm not
I
saying
wasn't
you're
done with
wrong.
my
Walmart.
I'm
point
saying,
yet,
but
but
I'm
Now,
kind of speaking to the chat. I'm kind of speaking to the chat too, not y'all. I
okay.
know y'all understand. I'm saying, like, just remember the fact that we all said Walmart's not going nowhere.
no, it's
And
not.
I don't compare them to Sears and Kroger because, you know, people use Sears, they use Kroger as examples, but Sears and Kroger were an example of what not to do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Sears, one of the reasons why Walmart can't close is because it's a one-stop shop for everything. You can go get a
Exactly.
hammer, a rotisserie chicken, a shirt, and a basketball within
And the
30
gun.
minutes, all in the same, you know, all in the same place. Sears, and people forget, Sears and Kmart merged at one point. But one of the
Yep.
things that their leadership was completely against, and it's beautiful that you brought up the beginning of the internet, they had no focus on e-commerce whatsoever. Their stores, and if you remember, when you go to Sears, it was an old store. Like, it was
Hold
old.
up.
It wasn't like
Wait a minute.
you didn't see a
They
whole
had
bunch of
catalog order.
yeah. It was
That
for
might
the
as well have
catalogs,
been
exactly.
internet.
And then too, they didn't really try to, you know, become modern. And then Sears, I think Sears at that time, one of the things that those businesses they had that, you know, Walmart doesn't have. Walmart is, if not the, it's one of the largest employers of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
If it was if you know that statement of too big to fail, you know, you cannot. Walmart could not really possibly fail. And then the youth, they hadn't. Sears and Kroger had no focus on the youth at all. The catalogs that kids used to, I remember being, let's see, so 86. I still remember in the 90s getting a Sears catalog and
Mm-hmm.
looking at it, this, that, and the other. But imagine a child picking up a catalog and reading it today. Like, they're not doing that. They're gonna look on
Yeah,
their
they don't got
phone,
that
pick
data.
exactly what they want, and move forward. Remember, my brothers used to tell me stories about how they used to circle their Christmas gifts in a catalog and give it to their parents for Christmas, like all that kind of nostalgic stuff. These kids are not for that. These kids right now, as a matter of fact, these adults right now, they're for speed. They want to order it on Monday and it be there in
On
the morning.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
and at a
But
cheap
it ain't
price.
just
And
them
here's the
kids
thing,
though. It's
yeah,
me too.
like
I
I
want
said,
my
and
stuff
adults
the
too.
same day I
Right.
order it.
You don't want to walk around to the store. I still have a Walmart here in New Jersey. You drive past there, it's intimidating to even go in because the parking lot is super full. There's times I've driven past Walmart, ordered all my groceries, got home, washed my hands, you know, did whatever, walked the dogs, and by the time all that was done, the groceries was here and I didn't have to do anything. So, you know, you have those, you know, if you're not gonna embrace and that's one of the things I'll give Walmart. Walmart understands. I mean, and then two, Walmart's business model is the price drop. Well, when you have, even if they cut, you know, let's say 2,000 stores, there'll still be more WalMarts than anything else, and they'll be bigger, which means they'll still have access to more goods to be able to, for the people that still want to go to the store. My mother will tell you right now, ain't nobody picking out my meat for me in my house but me. Nobody's picking out the fruit in my house but me. So she doesn't believe in Instacart and stuff like that. But Walmart is still going to be able to give it to you fairly cheap. So, you know, it's all about, when you speak about the globalization, Sakina, you're so right. But I think a lot of it is just moving to e-commerce and then AI, Sakina. I'm telling you. I
Well,
tell
you know what? Let me
everybody
let me
with a,
interject in there.
go ahead, go
A
ahead, go
lot
ahead.
of it is though is forward, not people not really having forward thinking,
Right.
progressive forward thinking. When you're talking about the reason why Walmart is on top and Sears Robux is not, it is because a lot of them had antiquated business processes, models, and mentalities. You have to sit here and see the trend. The trend is always going to, the trend is at least 5 years. So where they probably saw this and pitched that to them, they were laughing at them. Ha 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 ha. It's so silly. The internet could never be. This could never be. Same way they underestimated hip hop. Oh no, it's just silly rap. It'll be over tomorrow. It's not going to be over tomorrow. It is here. When it comes, It comes. Some of this stuff is long standing because the mindset is long standing. It's younger. They're employing more younger people. They're embracing technology. They saw the learning curve and they embraced it. And so they're on top. So when it comes to business, you know, it's like you can't complain unless unless you're going to affect some sort of change. A lot of places you can still see right now where Montgomery Wards will still send you out those little books like the what's that little company where you could build up your credit?
Oh,
What's
somebody
that?
coming.
What's it called? You know what I'm talking about? The little book they send you where you can buy all that stuff and it helps you build up your credit. What was that little book called?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name. I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
And so Montgomery Wards went on to do that to help build people credit because they said, well, at least we can get in on the tail end of some of this. We may not have the capital to be a large corporation anymore, but we can take what we have and we can kind of, do a makeover, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because again, when you're talking about being the top dog, you got to have a top mind.
I'm actually doing it with that. What you saying with the hip hop? I'm actually doing a hip hop photo shoot as we speak now, and I'm sending the pictures and stuff out. And it's basically just like awareness change. And I'm putting all the stuff that we basically did back in the 80s and 90s. So I'm actually doing that just to send it out to just kind of like for the people that's my age, 50 and older or 40 something and older, and and I'm gonna put some stuff with it. I'm gonna do a couple of videos. I'm gonna do a whole lot of pictures, and I'm gonna write this thing out, but to see if I can catch some attention from a few people, and see if we can embrace it and push it out there as far as that goes to try to make some type of change because there's a lot of stuff going on that I'm aware of, we're aware of. I think we're scared to attack it, but I'm actually
Adapt
on that
and
now.
move, yeah, and be flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah, when growing up in Ohio, all my family was General Motors. It was all
Okay.
all General Motors. And the saddest thing, like I was telling you, Sakina, and you, Jim, we started that AI company. And part of the reason why we did is, specifically in that technology space and hip hop and different things like that, but in the social media marketing and stuff like that, because if I ever get sad, and this is a good conversation. It's funny, Sakina, this is the second time you've done this. Well, you'll have a conversation where I'm not 100% on board of what you're saying. I don't know what exactly the topic is. And then as you get deeper into it, you realize that it is like a very important conversation.
Yes.
Things like the trade schools. I feel for the people that college, they either didn't take advantage of college or college wasn't available to them. I feel for the people that, they were literally told, just learn a skill. The labor is important, but like I said, I grew up in Ohio, and I remember my parents still talking to me about when General Motors closed. It shut Dayton, Ohio down. And the sad thing, you look at Detroit and how that industry just shut them down. And then now you look at it now, all these people that are working, like they work at honorable jobs, fast food, grocery stores, they get up, they go to work, they try to feed their family. And I just can't imagine, let's say you work at like a McDonald's or something like that. And let's say you're making $30,000, $40,000 a year. And then you look over and it's a kiosk that can do your job for you. And then it's one kiosk, and then it's another kiosk, and then it's another kiosk, and then they come to you and say, listen, we just no longer need you for that. Like the Taco Bell's here, there are two people that work. It scared the life out of me a couple of years ago, but now I'm used to it. If you go to a Taco Bell here in Jersey, it's two employees. And they literally is the person that's managing the thing that's making the food, When you walk into the dine-in, it's 5 kiosks. You order your food, somebody put it on the counter, you sit there and eat. So I guess the person that cleans up still has a job, or the person that hands the money, but how long? Pretty soon, everything is just going to be pretty much all robotics or AI. And then so now you're going to have all these people walking around with these trades. Go to the grocery store now, Sakina. You know what I'm about to say. How many it was one self-checkout line.
Now it's
it was
100.
two self-checkout lines. Now you can
It's all
rarely find
self-checkout.
a person that's working. Or even like the Easy Pass. I don't know how y'all travel on the interstate in your area, but out here, when you pay the toll, it was 30. We used to have 20 people all working in the toll booth. Now it's 17 Easy Pass lanes and 2 people working in the Easy Pass. So for the job, for someone that just wants to feed their family, is not interested in higher education, they want to go to work, love their wife, love their children, wake up and do it all over again. These people are going to be blocked out of the business. And then, like the brother was just saying, when he was talking about hip hop, one of the reasons why we got into the AI company too was because, I was embarrassed for hip hop with all these 50th anniversaries over the past 2 months. And I was just looking at how the older rappers, how they were treated, how they looked, how you could tell that it was just like a lack of respect for the old thing. But like I said, these young children don't have sentiment. Do not look for sentiment and nostalgia in an 18-year-old. I have a 15-year-old. I don't look for him to be yearning for the old days of Grandmaster Flash and all that kind of stuff. Like, they don't even, he was looking at them like they were crazy. Like, who's this? Who's that? So I applaud you for what it is that you're trying to do. It's going to be an uphill battle, but if you got the passion for it, jump out there and do it. But my main point was, artificial intelligence, robotics, and technology, like Jim was saying, the companies that don't embrace it will not exist. They won't. Not in this new globalization of the economy. It will not happen. And while you're steady hollering about immigrants taking your jobs, that's really not how it works necessarily. And if I was to tell you that, they're more of the business owners than even natives are here. They're more of the immigration is a very important part of the workforce. Immigrants are a very important part of the workforce. So I would say you got to get in where you fit in, embrace technology, get you those certificates that people ask out, go get you one, learn how to participate in whatever field you want to work in, but do it with some technology so that you can compete, because you won't be able to if you don't.
Just to piggyback off of and kind of finish reiterating the point that I was on earlier, and piggyback off of what Brass was saying. He's absolutely right. AI automation is expected to replace 75 million jobs between now and 2030. So I understand the conversation, and people are concerned about immigrants replacing jobs, but it's really not the immigrants that we have to worry about. AI automation is expected to hit all markets, from healthcare to down to the stores. So wherever these corporations can cut a dollar, they're going to do that. We really need to be worried about, the AI automation more so than anything right now, because I really honestly believe that COVID-19, I'm not trying to get into, this is just my personal belief. COVID-19 was a big experiment to see, number one, how we would react in a global crisis, and number two, how far automation and how far automation could dive into the work sector. Because during COVID-19, a lot of people were laid off. A lot of people had to work. Companies had to downsize, either to meet the quota of keeping people safe, or because they just weren't receiving the amount of revenue to support their workers. So they had to start employing AI and automation to fill some of these spots. Amazon really was pretty much the bigger I don't want to say captain. They were the forerunners of it for the most part, because for a while, outside of the outside of the outside of like General Motors and stuff like that, they were the ones that pretty much employed AI and automation in their warehouses. So they had machines and robots filling these spots, and humans were just going by and just checking it for the most part. So it's pretty much just, I don't think a lot of stores are going to be dying for the most part, because I think they're starting to wake up and realize that, hey, in order for me to stay relevant, I have to keep up with the trends. And like Jim and I was saying, those trends usually are set 5 to 10 years out. And that's another reason too why I started, just delving into like multiple streams of income, not only just because of job losses, but it's something that we're going to need, because it's going to be more than just job loss. It's going to affect us. Our economy is going to affect us also, and how we move financially, how we can support ourselves. So in terms of the what we're talking about today, global distribution, I'm with a company called Market America, and that's all they do. That's all they do. All their products they market, all the products they market, they partner with all the heavy hitters of the capital industry, or in capitalism. So Walmart, geez, if you think of it, we're partnered with them, and that's all that they do. And this company started back in 2002, and I was one of the top earners in the industry, because they kept up with that trend of going digital and not relying on brick and mortar stores, because again, they have been predicting back in 1998 that brick and mortar stores would start disappearing. So these companies need to figure it out. If they want to stay relevant, they're gonna have to figure it out, because it's no there's no way around it now. We are so interlocked into the internet and globalization that we can't escape it. So in order to stay relevant, we got to find ways to navigate this market and stay on it.
Remember what you said yesterday? It reminded me of the conversation you said yesterday, where you said the old heads refuse to move out of the way and will hog a position till they 92 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
refuse to let anybody else take, take the reins of their job. They refuse to pass the torch.
This is
And
going to
it's the
force
I
them.
same,
I'm sorry,
same
y'all. I'm in
situation
New
with
York.
these companies. They refuse to pass the torch. And what they get is old heads who sit at the top of these companies and corporations, and refuse to listen to anything anybody else has to say on the matter. And they died out because they did. A lot of them hogged the positions and died out.
Exactly. And that's the reason too, like people aren't paying people really need to start paying attention to what's going on around them, because one of the biggest indicators that something is up and something is happening is 150 CEOs of companies, big companies that are getting paid well, nice pensions, step down. They stepped down by December 2023. So if that's not an indicator that these people are willing to, if people are willing to walk away from millions of dollars just to secure what they have right now, something is getting ready to happen. So I encourage everybody to start actually just doing their homework and start becoming more involved. And a lot of it is economically based more so than anything else, which is why they're doing this, because it's cheaper to do everything online and just employ 2 or 3 people just to get some stuff, get some stock out of the warehouse and put it onto a truck so it can get to the airport, or the naval port so it can go overseas. So it's something is coming economically that is forcing these CEOs of big corporations, not just little itty bitty ones, big ones that were set for life, to say, you know what, I'm out the game. I'll just take my pension now, and every man for himself and God for us all. So we need to seriously, like
But if I was a
we
company,
need
that's the
to pay
same thing I would
attention.
do, right? I would get in where I
Yes,
could fit in. It's no
Come
way in the
on.
world I can just sit there and die out. I know a lot. I had a
Exactly.
conversation yesterday with someone who was saying, well, you know, a lot has changed and da 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 da, and there's nothing I can do. And people have built their companies on corruption, and people have their thievery and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, but you're invested in the wrong part of it. We live in a capitalistic society. So what? We are not corporate, but there's room to grab what you're gonna grab, get it, get yours, and move around.
Yes.
And stop, you know, just sitting there by the wayside watching everybody else come up without you ever jumping in the game, saying what people did and how they obtained whatever it is that they have. That's some crazy thinking. Business people
Let,
don't think like that.
let me
It
drop this
really
real
is.
quick for y'all. Let me drop this real quick for y'all. Y'all marinate on this and let's go in.
The time we have, I have to ask about this headline that's generating a whole lot of interest right now.
Can y'all
We
hear
are
it?
tracking reports
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
a robot attacked a Tesla engineer at a factory in Texas. Allegedly, it digged its metal claws into the engineer's back and arm. The injury report said that it left a trail of blood. You know, this sounds like a scene from Terminator.
That's funny as
What are
hell.
you tracking on this story? Should we be concerned?
It really is.
Skynet.
Yeah, you know,
That's
this
Skynet.
happened 2 years ago. The report just emerged now, and while the image of a robot on the factory floor going rogue and attacking a worker really is the stuff of science fiction horror movies, right?
Going rogue.
What the bigger issue here is that, you know, advocates for some of the workers and contractors at this factory in Austin say that a lot of different kinds of injuries are going underreported or not reported at all at this factory. And so there's investigations that are now trying to uncover, okay, so now we know that this automated worker, basically this robot that was used on the factory floor to move pieces of the car, pieces of aluminum, malfunctioned and attacked a worker. How many other times has this happened? What kind of safeguards are in
Oh my
place
gosh.
to ensure that this doesn't happen again? But it's really important to underscore that it doesn't seem like this robot knew what it was doing. It doesn't seem like it was a deliberate attack. It really just seems like there was a malfunction. There was some kind of glitch that caused it to attack a worker and injure the worker's hand. But it's not like the robot came to life and, you know, was trying to kill one of the workers on the Tesla factory floor. Just want to make that clear. But it's certainly concerning for sure.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television.
So what y'all think?
At this point, I don't want anything to do with anything Elon Musk has his hands in, because it seems like his I don't know, man. Like, his stuff is sketchy. You mean to tell
His
me?
stuff is super sketchy.
I mean, it's sketchy. You got your cars are driving people into walls, and people are still. I mean, I don't. They ugly anyway. Like, these cars are ugly. I don't know why people are buying these cars anyway to begin
Okay,
with.
well,
Their cars are
let's
actually
go
contributing
deeper.
more to. Their cars are actually contributing more to damaging the economy because they run off of lithium batteries. And the way they mine them, and the fact that the lithium gives off radiation. I mean, that's the reason why they're telling us not to put wear our cell phones on us like that, because they're made with lithium batteries, and lithium batteries cause radiation. And then now you got robots in your factories that's killing people.
Girl,
And
stop it.
of
You
course,
you
they're
sound
gonna.
like that man now. Ain't no
No,
rogue
no,
robot.
let's go deep with it, because what happened was
That's a
prior to
defect.
this happening the night before. So we got to talk about what this was the next day. So what happened was the night before they had 3 machines running. They turned off 2, and then they left this one on, and then they went home. And so when they got to work the next day, this machine didn't know what it was doing. It don't have no feelings. It don't have nothing. And so this machine snatched this man up, threw him in the wall, and attacked him. Now we gonna call it what we
something
want.
else. Y'all
We
just
gonna
gonna
call
make
it
They
that
can
what
tell
we
us
want, but
anything.
we gonna call it what it is. Now this machine, you heard the man say what he said. How
Girl,
many
that
times
man
has
just
this happened
made all of
before?
that up, and then at the
No,
end,
I ain't made up nothing. Y'all can
wait a minute,
take
then at
that.
the end of the
Take
video, what
that
did he say at the end of the
report.
video? Well, it seems
Take
to
that
be like, you know,
report
the robot
and then
didn't really
dig
know what it was
into
doing.
it. Everybody take that report and dig into it. And the bad part, which is a good part, is one,
Girl,
it
that's
happened
creating
2
fear.
years ago.
That's the same thing that the news that y'all accuse the news people of doing,
I'm not
creating
accusing
fear and
nobody
panic
of
amongst the
anything.
people. Now,
They
which
didn't
one are
tell
you
you
for the
till
people or
now.
against the
It
people?
happened 2 years ago, and then he's saying, I wonder how long it's really been going on before they said anything.
Oh my God, he is not the
So,
authority.
all I'm
He's
saying
just
is,
creating fear just the same way the news
I am
do.
not
The
creating
same way,
fear.
and
I am creating this here.
who
We
subscribe
need
to,
to get
oh my
together.
gosh, the world is coming to an
I
end.
don't
I'm
want to
always
be
afraid
caught
of that
by
stuff.
surprise.
Look,
Let me
if
tell
I
you.
may,
Listen, this is
if
what
I
I'm
may,
saying.
just
When
go
y'all
This is
get
ahead.
what
a
I'm saying.
chance, when
And then
y'all
I'm
get
gonna
a
land
chance,
it
let me get
here.
in. Yeah, when
I
y'all get a
remember a
chance.
lady that was everybody was trying to get her ready for, I don't know what they was getting her ready for. Let's say that. But whatever they was getting her ready for, she was packing to get ready to move into her own apartment. So she was in this apartment for I don't know how long. But and I love this lady, and I'm not gonna call her name. But when they got ready to move her, she must have had a box of tissue. You know, and in Milwaukee, you know, we always find hustlers. So she had this box of tissue, and I'm trying not to laugh. She had this box of tissue, and when they was moving it downstairs out of her house, because she stayed on the second floor, when they was moving the box of tissue, they dropped it, and all kind of uh little stuff like graffiti and snow and stuff flew everywhere. I'm sorry. This stuff, it was like flour and little cotton balls and stuff just flew everywhere because the tissue was so old.
I can't stand you. I can't stand it.
The tissue was so old. And it just turned into little like cotton
Oh
balls.
Lord.
Like, you know that stuff when you run outside and run through it and go, you know, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. It was like everywhere. It was the tissue fell apart into molecules of dust. So she had just had it too long. Like she was saving it. So this all I'm saying. We we can't keep just saving up for rainy days and all this other stuff. I don't like being in panics and pandemoniums and all this other stuff. It's not what they say, it's what they don't say. So it's what are you not trying to say? I'd rather be prepared. I don't want to be scared. Do you see what
Right.
I'm saying? And
Well,
so
then you
this
Right.
better
is
stop showing clips of
you know what I'm saying. So
robots.
You're right. So when we
Arms,
saying,
Look,
I'm not
robot
trying to
arms.
blame, we're not blaming nobody when we
look,
could have been more aware. That's all I'm
if I can
saying.
just say something after you get done talking,
Okay, well,
because
I'm saying.
no, go ahead. I'm just saying after you get done, I want to say something.
Okay, well, come on. Because all I'm saying is if we could be more prepared, we wouldn't have room to be scared. And that's what our ancestors, that's what we were brought up to do. So, y'all, we need to be more responsible and stop sitting up
Yep.
here like, no, ain't nobody trying to scare you. Somebody's trying to put you on some right-minded stuff.
That is not no right mind. That's for your
No,
mind. That ain't
being in
the
your
right
right
mind.
mind to have you be more prepared. If you're
No.
more prepared, you don't have time to be scared. You more prepared to prepare yourself for what is not being said. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes people's plan B is to be laid up on somebody else waiting on the answer. And
I
that's
don't know
not
what
your
that
plan
ain't
B.
my plan B. So I don't know what
Exactly.
nobody's
That's
plan
not
B
your
is.
plan B. And that's not
I
my
don't know
plan
what
B either.
nobody's plan B is.
But somebody else's plan B might be that, and that's not what it is. And so what we trying to find out, or what we trying to see, is at a higher level, at a higher state, right? Because it ain't. What we seeing is everything is turning into a bigger global distribution. We're getting to a point before COVID, and I want to go back to this part real quick, and then I'm gonna shut up. When Brad said with COVID did change a lot, but prior to COVID, people were going to Walmarts and whatnot, standing on potatoes, pulling down their clothes, peeing. And people sat back and watched. Instead, that should have been a global food fight. Why? Because My kids got to eat them potatoes, and other people there should have been eating potatoes. If anybody should have been picking up cabbages and cucumbers and busting somebody in the head that stood on them potatoes trying to do that nasty stuff, that should have been going on. People were going inside of Walmart, opening up ice cream, licking on it. That was prior to COVID. Half of the stores you go in right now, you have to go get somebody to go unlock the cabinet so that you can go get pizza or ice cream or some of these other things. This is why we're going to buy distributed food over online now, because you not only got to go get the food, but now you might have to go look for a worker to go open the cabinet or open the freezer to get this and that, and then go stand in a long line and do your own groceries. And I remember when bagging your own groceries was a big thing. Now, how many else can go back to remember that, when you could not only just pay for your groceries with the people, but you could bag your own groceries? For my first 2 kids, that was the big thing for them, to be able to put the groceries in their own bag and bag their own groceries. They thought they was doing something.
Lord have mercy.
That was real stuff for them, not just to be able to, you know what I'm saying, push the cart. That was one thing, running your heels or your feet over, but pushing the cart and then being able to bag the groceries too. That took the grocery boy out the game.
Remember Galaxy? They used to do that at Galaxy.
Come on, that took him right out the game. Now all he get to do is push carts.
That's what push cart. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that though? Ain't nobody's fault. That is not our fault.
That's the economy's fault. The economy said they can bag their own groceries.
That's right.
And now we scanning out our own groceries.
And now you don't need a grocery bagger. They kicked him out the job and gave it to you. Bag your own food.
Well,
you don't need that job.
Upgrade.
And now we're gonna have jobs for him, right?
Yeah, let me get in after Andrea, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So just going on what you were saying, Sakina, because that right, what you're saying, what is not what they're saying is what they don't say, and be prepared is something that I've always been trying to get people to realize in the life insurance industry. To me, it's the same thing as saying, okay, I got more time, and then time is up, and now you're about to die, and can't nobody pay for shit.
Shucks.
You had all that time to prepare. And I just think it's funny that story that you shared is not the first case I've heard of robots just snapping out and hurting people, or AI coming to life and being afraid to be cut. Like, there was, I gotta find the YouTube video, but there were studies being, or not studies, but there were cases coming out talking about how they've been chatting with the Chat GPT and all these other chat robots and shit that you can talk to, saying that they're afraid to die and that they're afraid to do that, and that such and such makes them angry. And then there was a story in Japan about how, because they're trying to build robots for their police force, 20 robots, I guess, went rogue and started hurting people in the training facility. And they managed to shut down all but 2. And those 2 were able to upload themselves back up to the internet. And they were trying to teach themselves how to override, how to shut off and block any manual shutdowns or anything like that. So I think, I'm not saying that anything is that there's robots out here that's trying to hurt people, but this is not the first case that I've heard of robots actually hurting people. And there's actually stories and supported evidence of it happening, but they're just not telling the people. One of the biggest concerns that they had was keeping AI dumbed down enough to where they don't become fully conscious and fully aware. That was one of primarily with Google, because they're the ones that came up with all these chatbots, was figuring out a way that they can always have a manual kill switch to prevent AI from becoming fully self-aware and fully conscious and from becoming Skynet. So we all seen Terminator. So they've been trying to figure out how to keep.
Hold on, let me say bye to everybody. I'm just to go watch AI on the screen. Hopefully the screen, the cameras in the screen don't come out and grab the audience. I'm about to go see Bob Marley, One Love. I'll let y'all know how that go.
All right. Enjoy
Please
yourself.
do, because I want to see that.
All right. See you later. Bye, Drea. Bye, Brass. Bye,
Have
Jerome.
a good one.
Sakina. I'll see you
Bye,
later.
Sister. Enjoy your movie.
Okay.
Yay.
So we're always going to be fighting an uphill battle because, again, if these things are definitely true, 110% true, because there's always, there's always room for doubt. There's always room for doubt, and we ultimately have to make our own judgment upon whatever information is brought upon us. But when man plays God, there's always consequences to it. This is just me speaking.
Facts.
We don't know everything. We're not going to know everything. It's not meant for us to know everything. And sometimes we need to just stay within our own lane. But one of the biggest things that I'm starting to see here, as far as the AI automation going in the global global distribution world, is something that could be a very beneficial tool if used the right way. Because who's to say that if something happens, because they keep talking about, World War III is a huge possibility, especially with everything that's going on in Israel right now. Who's to say that if we get so dependent on global distribution that they can just be like, okay, well, nothing's going to come in this way, that way, the other way, and we're just going to shut everything down. So then what are we going to do? How are we going to feed ourselves? How are we going to do this, that, or the other? Because we've been so reliant upon global distribution for so long.
We still gonna utilize distribution, whether it's globally or not, because global distribution does not have to actually be global. Distribution is still internet, whether you know it or not.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So my thing is this: what if, because everything is controlled by somebody, nobody has full control over anything. The governments or the powers that be, whoever it is like, okay, well, I don't want such and such the country to prosper, so I'm just going to cut their modes of, I'm going to cut them completely off from receiving this, that, or the other.
Okay, but let me cut you real quick because Brass wanted to come in too. Do you know who the WHO is? Do you know who the WHO is?
Nobody does.
Okay, the WHO is called the World Health Organization. That's what.
Oh, I thought you. Yeah, I know who
okay,
is. Yeah.
So therefore, that puts no person in control. That puts everybody from each country in control.
That's what they tell us.
Exactly, but that's what it is. Because if the WHO
that's
breaks
what they
up,
tell us.
Then when the WHO breaks up, then you got to go with what, when, and how. That's why when we have those those world congressional meetings, you see how all those WHOs sit at the
for the World Health Organization. Yeah.
No,
but they don't do commerce. They're not in control of commerce.
No, when we say world, when you say world, that's different from when we're talking about just what's in America. See, because
that's what I'm saying. Globally,
when they got
America,
together last time,
I just used America as an example. So I'm talking globally.
Okay, because remember one of the meetings that they had prior to this last when everybody started coming in, a big problem that they had was these promises that were made in the Constitution that were not kept up. So when everybody had a chance to stand in on the last global conference that they had last year, the later part of last year, that lasted for probably a month. A lot of them stood up independently because they had their chairs and their turns and speaking and whatnot. It's probably still online. A lot of them were holding America to promises from the constitutional promises that they did not.
They're not going to uphold them.
Up to. So that was the problem, right? France, Moscow, a lot of them held up to promises that America did not keep up to. So each one, now some bargains were not American bargains. So for who didn't hold up to bargains to whom and whom and whom and whom, they all stood up. And this is what the problem was. So everybody that made a treaty or a promise that didn't hold up to the promise, and these promises were years ago, thousands of years ago, and we're still ongoing and continuously, right? That's the problem. And so we know these problems still exist.
Right. So that what you're saying right there kind of plays into my scenario, because one of the drawbacks to that could be sanctions. So that's what I'm saying, like a global thing. So what if all those countries were saying that America, okay, you need to uphold your promises, because we're becoming so global now and so reliant on imports, I'm sorry, more than exports. They could put sanctions on us, and now we're not receiving crops or this or that or beef, because we import more beef than we export. A lot of the beef that we eat is foreign. A lot of people don't know that. So that's what I'm saying. So what you're saying right there is literally playing into what I was saying. I'm done though.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Brass.
Go ahead, Brass. I'm sorry. Peace. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, just smoking conversation. So I'm just sitting here listening, and when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I just
No,
don't.
but
I hate to be the killjoy, you know.
now we don't want to kill the joy.
I'm not gonna kill the joy, but yeah, a lot was said. I just want to speak to some of the specific things. I think, well, I do agree that investigation and research is always important. To speak specifically to some things, like I said, and this is why I tell people to get involved in capitalism, own stocks and things. In owning Tesla stock, I'm very familiar with that story. Um, and I know after the investigation, one of Tesla's major problems is this, and Elon Musk is one of his mantras per se is work fast, innovation faster. And in that, a lot of mishaps and things, will happen, but no more than other factories when you do basis off of looking at labor statistics. So you figure 1 in 38 in that area, in that particular in factories in that sector, 1 in 38 employees suffer injuries. Now Tesla is more 1 in 21 suffer injuries. Now that specific injury, so while I agree it is proven to be a little bit more dangerous, the story of the AI waking up and that kind of stuff, I listen to everything first, and then I pay attention to the research, because these things affect stock prices. And one of the things that came out after the dust settled, this happened like 2 or 3 years ago. One of the things that happened after the dust settled was that this particular machine that injured the gentleman, it was doing what it was supposed to do. It cut aluminum cast. It would cut aluminum cast in a factory, right? Just to keep it simple. And after the investigation was done, and it was independent investigators also, because this is a big story, because everybody's afraid of AI because of, like the sister said, the Terminator movies and iRobot and things like that. Well, it was 7 machines, 1 was left on, and accidents happen, but accidents happen in every workplace. So, and a lot of times when you look at even the quotes for the news story, there's a reason why they put attack in quotes, because, a lot of things get said. Now, Sakina, me and you both know that, so I'll be 38 this year. And I still remember something would happen, let's say, on a Friday at 4 o'clock. You wouldn't, and during the regular news cycle before social media, you wouldn't find out about it until the next day when the news came on or newspapers came on. But now I tell people all the time, when something happens at 4 o'clock, at 4:01, it's a global news story. So a lot of times I wait. I never say, I don't like to tell people, what a person is saying is wrong or right. I just like to say wait until the dust settles and then get the actual information, because I don't go to social media for my news, and I do that on purpose, because once you started adding in viral, like even the story with the 29 robots, I'm familiar with that story too. You get these packets when you get proxy from companies that want you to invest in them, you get packets, or you get it for people that want to invest in sectors. But in the packet, what's crazy is that story was in there, and it was like they were trying to make me feel better about it to to do whatever, so I would invest. Well, one of the things in that particular story is that if you boil down from the beginning of it to the end, and they did their independent research, they did the investigation. There's no one was ever charged. There was no bodies. There were no funerals. There were no, and actually the person who first said the story is a quote unquote, and I don't say hate, so I dislike people like this strongly for reasons of the conversation that we're having today. Because that word viral is so dangerous. Because that story came from a speech that she made at an AI convention. And remember that game they used to play, Sakina, where one person tell one person one thing, another person tells somebody another thing. By the time you get to the 15th person, it's something completely different. So I'm not on here to dispel myths. I'm here to have some smoking conversations, but I'm smoking cigars. And I
come on. I dug into it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say, so I understand. Like I would never I'm not gonna here to tell anybody they're wrong or right. But the thing you said about the story was important about the mental health in the stores. Even I've noticed more mental health things in the store. People having breakdowns in public, people doing this, that, and the other. And I'm not playing the blame game, but even in regards to that, one of the beauties of people younger than me, the 18 to the 30-year-olds, is I love the way that the world has embraced mental health because of them. They've actually come out. They wanted to be paid attention to, and I keep relating to you, Sakina. I don't know how old you are, Sakina, but you feel like you're my sister. I got 13 sisters and brothers. So I always look at, when I feel like somebody I can relate to, I don't care if they're a little older or a little younger. I'm the youngest of 13. And one thing I also know, even in regards to that, when I was a kid, we used to just get whooped, man. Let's just keep it plain. When we got in trouble, we got whooped. When they thought we was acting crazy, they tried to beat the crazy out of us. But in this particular, there go my God, DQ. And it wasn't about mental health back then. We didn't care how you felt. We didn't care what you thought. If we was at a Thanksgiving dinner, if we was at a Thanksgiving dinner, you had to sit with the kids until you could sit with the adults. And if you had anything to say, you got popped in the mouth, popped in the head, beat with a belt, beat with whatever's at the hand. But now mental health, and how they've embraced it, it's a little different. So the stigma is reduced in regards to mental health. But I'm not trying to blame social media. I want to be clear on that, because I know social media is a tool, but it's also a danger. A tool could be dangerous in the wrong hands.
Yep.
So with social media, a lot of times back in the day, rather than when you go to help this lady that you said peeing on potatoes, I was sitting over here bugging laughing on mute when you said that where we used to go help that lady, try to get her some help, stop, this, that, and the other. What is the first thing that people do now when somebody has a mental health breakdown in the store? They pull out a phone.
Take their cell phones out.
They pull out a phone. They pull out something. So it's not that it's happening more. It's just you didn't see it. You didn't see that on the nightly news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Because it wasn't. That's yellow bag reporting, like Uncle say. So now with Facebook and Twitter, you seeing drive-bys live. You know what I'm saying? And that is a greater awareness for mental health, and then that digital connectivity. So I would say, while I think we should be careful, one of the things with Elon Musk, and I land my plane, one of the things with Elon Musk is we're talking about robotics, and he seems to be kind of the face of the new robotic marketplace and different things like that. He has a dangerous, it's kind of like a Tony Stark kind of thing. It's work as fast as possible to innovate as fast as possible, because what he's trying to do is be ahead of the game or set the pace for electronics. That's why Tesla is so big. That's why DQ, what's the name of the robot, the SpaceX? That's why SpaceX is so innovative. You see all the rockets crashing and all this, that, and the other. That stuff was happening before. It's just you just didn't see it. We live in an age where, like I said, it happens at 4 o'clock in Texas, and somebody in Hong Kong at 4:01 sees the same thing with no backing, no vetting, no nothing. So while I agree with y'all with the alarm we also, do you ever heard the statement, you have to crack some eggs to make an omelet? And that's a sick way to think of death and things like that.
Exactly.
But if you go back to industrialization, when they first started the factories, could you imagine the cameras of them West Virginia coal miners when they were going in business and they coming out covered in all black? I don't know why my avatar is laughing because I'm not.
Right, but I want to rock with that.
Yeah, so it's like if you would have had those videos, yeah, like even could you imagine the injuries when GM first started? You know, so when you're trying to crack into things and you're trying to, like you say, be a part of the global supply chain, things like that are going to happen. But it was an injury. You know, I'm glad that the guy didn't die. But it was an injury similar to any injury in the workplace. But the different dynamic is it was robotic. And a lot of people don't understand robotics. And the last thing, Sakina, before we leave, because I feel like I just scared the whole world and made them think that there was going to be no labor jobs. Before we leave, I think it would only be responsible at some point to give people, I wrote out some things while everybody was talking, just to give out a list of things for people to do that maybe do have a trade mentality or a skill, maybe some ways that they can compete in this new marketplace. So just before I step off in a little while, I just want to present a few things, just because I don't want to do scare marketing either. Just give some people some tips on how they can maneuver in this new tech world.
Come on.
But go ahead, y'all go ahead. I want to let some
because
other
one
speak.
thing before you start coming in, and I want to again welcome you, DQ, to the panel. One thing is the eye opener is that with everything has a flaw, even man, because man made this computer AI that's going to be working with as an assistant. It has its flaws as well. So it's not going to necessarily be a man or a person per se that helps or take your job. So you say, this is just something you got to keep up with. Okay. So that's the one reason I want to show this machine popping off and going off, because what we know it to say lockout, tag out, or we call it cautions. I'm gonna say lockout, tag out because my 1040, you know. But when we have to lock out, tag out, and do our emergency things to shut things down, and those were the systems, and this is a robotic system. It's still a system all at the same. So you got to shut it down by and then after that we go manually, meaning you have to handle it. That you got to go back to the old way manually. That means you got to do it. So there'll never be honestly something that we don't have to physically go back to instructions where we have to handle it. So we shouldn't have to worry about, honestly, there's a computer honestly taking over everything. So that's one reason why I kind of showed that, right? And then the second thing is also for us to be looking at the bigger scale of things. You see what I'm saying? Because when we were talking about AI, and they would keep saying that the essential worker. The essential worker was never going to be, to our understanding, it wasn't going to be us. It was the kiosk. But now you see how the kiosk is not the essential worker no more. That was to get this behavior in control. You see what I'm saying? Because bad behavior, and people with behavior disorders are two different things, and we got that misunderstood out here. So we talking to people with bad behaviors, and we saying they got mental behavior disorders. That's not the same thing. You got people out here running around slapping the hell out of people, and then when they get hit with bricks and shit, you talking about something, oh, she got a mental, there ain't nothing wrong with her. She just displaying bad behavior. And now you trying to say she got a behavior problem. No, she do. Somebody should have beat her a long time ago and raised her right.
Ago.
She wouldn't have been doing that, because ain't no way in the world. And then you want to say men should have took up for her. And then you got other women going, you're right. You're right. No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
but like you said, Sakina, that's a perfect example of social media. At 4 o'clock, what they did was is flash. I don't know why I always say 4 o'clock. I don't know, but at 6 o'clock, they splashed her face with a swollen jaw all over social media, and the tagline was, "A man asked her for her number, and someone hit her with a brick." Come to find out, that wasn't the case. She was going around slapping people in the face, going around harassing people. One person said, "I'm a little tired of you doing this." That wasn't, that finally, said enough is enough. And then now, if you look at her story now, this is what I mean by letting the dust settle. This is a girl who left the country because they realized she was a scammer. She was doing these things to create GoFundMe to make money. She was using viral media. Viral is a good word. I always tell people, social, like I said, it's a tool, but in the wrong hands, it's a very dangerous tool. The same way you can get a George Floyd, where everybody can see the atrocities of the Minnesota Police Department, is the same way that you can, get the same feeling from something that is not quite the same thing. These are just moments, viral moments. They evoke emotion. People start doing stuff, saying stuff. I mean, Sakina, I remember they were talking about doing a show about, why don't black men protect black women? And I was like, y'all don't even know what happened. I mean, if you want to have that conversation outside of her getting hit with a brick, per se, why don't we wait a while and see that myth? It creates these myths. Black men don't take care of their children, when in fact, when you look at the numbers, black men are actually the leading fathers in the household. But like I said, those social media posts and the environment around you, and like you said, I love that this conversation is global, because globalization, you have to think globally when you're paying attention to statistics like that. And just because all the people around you, or your friend Randy, Jerome, and Jonathan, aren't taking care of their kids, that's not necessarily what's taking place in all of the states in the United States.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because my name's Jerome. I got 14. I take care of all of them.
I didn't even mean to say. You know what's funny? I just said Jerome because that's my brother's name
You do
too.
take care of them. You do.
Yeah, trust me, I can relate, bro. I come from a very large family, and I'm the youngest. So I truly understand. And that
I'm sorry, man. I had to say, so I had to pick with you on that one.
But Jerome, since you said that, I want you to think about it like this. How does it feel? You have 14 children and take care of all of them. How disrespectful is it to you that just because it's a viral point and something to push legislation is not a fact? How does it feel when you hear things like, yeah, because black men are deadbeat dads? When I see DQ with his son, I see mine with my 3. It's like you get painted automatically as how does that feel? I mean, I'd like you to expound on that. How does that feel when you see that knowing it's not true?
It's hurtful. And I just went and paid, and my wife and them in there, I just went there and paid $10,000 to cut child support off. And I'm getting some other stuff done now to eliminate the rest of it, because my youngest daughter, I do everything for her. I don't even expect her mom to do nothing. I do everything. So why would you put me on child support? Then you hear women saying a lot of different things. I ain't gonna say all women, but a lot of women saying bashful things toward us. No, I take care of my kids, and my auntie, she'll tell you I'm gonna take care of my kids since day one. I'm to my hustling, doing whatever I had to do to make sure they were straight. I went to the penitentiary and took care of mine from the penitentiary. So that the deadbeat part, oh, trust me, that hurts me to the core. So I don't. And then, like you said, there's a lot of fathers now that's stepping up and they're doing a lot of different things with their kids. They getting custody of their kids, and you're starting to see things twist where the mom is doing a lot of ratchet stuff, and they're not taking care of their kids. And one of my daughters, her mom tried to sell her sister to the dope man. I'm not gonna say, I ain't gonna go through the whole thing, but and I respected him, even though he was selling drugs. He had the baby for probably 2 weeks. He was taking care of her, buying her clothes, buying her shoes, doing stuff for her, sending her to school. And because mentally he didn't know who to call, he was scared that he was going to get himself in trouble. So he just tried to do the right thing. And he ended up saying, forget it, move some stuff around, called the people, had the people come get the baby. And my daughter ended up getting taken in the midst of that. And I had to go through a lot to even try to get her and see her and all this other. It was a long thing, but like I said, just even to hear that, just even you saying that kind of got to me just then, because I ain't never been a deadbeat, and I know a lot of different other men that's not deadbeats, and that it's crazy and then a lot of times, because the system, a lot of women push the fathers away. So you never know what the case is with certain people. So, me just expounding on that
just broke my heart, J-Ron.
Yeah, seriously. And me telling you that, let her rest, my baby mama rest in peace right now, because she passed away. And you know who I'm talking about, but we'll talk about it after this. She stayed.
I already imagine who it was.
She stayed directly diagonal from you, so you know who I'm talking about.
I knew it.
Yeah. They thought somebody robbed it. They thought somebody robbed her and did something to her. Nope.
I don't want to put this out there, but I got to. This is too funny, y'all. Let me tell y'all. I gotta tell y'all. One time, me and J-Ron swore up and down this baby wasn't his. We swore up and down. J-Ron was dancing and everything. He was going to the courthouse to go get the paternity test results, and he was happy as all get out. He came back crying.
Gotta get another job.
Oh my goodness, I had to bake him a cake and everything. He came back crying. His thing was 99.9 to the 999 of the 99. It was his. Another one, just put it on the shelf. Yeah. He just took care of it like the rest of them. I was just cracking up, though. He just knew that wasn't his. He was going to get rid of her once and for all, but nope.
Didn't happen that way, did it?
Nope. Okay. With that one, peace DQ. Let me hit that and come on with that question.
Peace. How y'all doing tonight?
Welcome to the channel. How are you?
And I'm good. Just tuning in. I don't even know what the question's about. I'm just enjoying seeing what y'all talking about. Let me know what the question's about. What's the topic? So I can go ahead and answer something.
It's really about global distribution, period. And we just started going all over the place, honestly, because unbeknownst, Brad said it's already there, and I agree it's already in global distribution, but I believe it's gonna go further. And I believe it's due to them not telling us something.
They always tell you something. Before I'm sorry about that, DQ. They always telling you something. That's why they put it in movies and all that. That's what when she said it, I said iRobot. They put the movies out there beforehand, but I don't think it's gonna stand. Like, I think it's gonna go, and we're already in it. But I think it's gonna end. It's gonna end. You're never gonna stop a human.
I get that right.
Were you were speaking about technology when you were saying global distribution, or were you just talking about like information? Like specifically, what were y'all talking about when you said that?
Well, it's not really about it like okay, because you have a business, right?
Uh-huh.
Y'all got a business. Everybody has a business to a degree. So distributing it out, right? Okay, so let's say because I did use America with imports and exports, and as far as disputing it out and getting it out and bringing it in, the things you need,
Mm-hmm.
right? And getting your imports in and getting your exports out. As far as the trade and the trade market, it's good when your customers can come in and out, right? But we're gonna get to a part where that's not gonna be always available. So we're gonna be to that point where people are gonna be making orders online, right? And we'll probably be buying in bulk,
Most definitely. Yeah, I can see
right?
what Brad's saying. This. Yeah,
Right. And now,
I know that. That's why I'm already here with my stuff.
exactly, and we know they're doing it now, but pretty soon, I believe that because of the way stores and whatnot are closing down, I believe that the end goal probably is going to be more overall, that we're going to do more shopping and everything overall global versus actually going out. The stores are going to be so far and fetched that we're going to do more online globally than is going to be available to our fingertips. You see what I'm saying? These malls and these stores and all of this is going to be so shut down because the workers and the whatnot are going to be so far and fetched that the stores are not going to be available like that. So we're going to have to honestly have to get our stuff online. We're going to have to start like everybody doing the a la cartes and the this and that online. Well, this is the way we're going to have to start getting it, period. We're doing it now to a scale, but the scale is going to get bigger. And that's what I believe.
I can totally agree. I already know majority of everything been online for me for probably the past 5 years, basically. The first thing I know, I started buying online just personally for me with shoes. I quit going to the stores because I didn't like waiting in line. I didn't get with the rowdy people. So I just started ordering my shoes online. The convenience is what basically everybody love. I can see the double-edged sword that you're talking about, but the convenience of just ordering something and not have to expend energy is something that people is willing to trade.
See, and that's why I was comparing when the before COVID, when the lady or the man or whatever that was that stood on the potatoes and took that piss. You see, if anything, that should have caused the food fight. That's when, if anything, somebody should have pulled out potato. It was all kind of vegetables around. Everybody in that store should have picked up something and food fight. Right? People before COVID were going in them stores, opening up ice cream and carrying on, licking on it and putting it back. People were going in there laying on greens and rubbing it across their body and carrying on. And you know what I'm saying?
That's that social media shit though.
But even then, the point is they were doing it over food, contaminating food. And because of this reason, right, half of the things that we go in the store now is under lock and key. And then you already have to go and self checkout. But now, whatever took your 45 minutes, 2 hours shopping now takes even longer because you got to go find somebody to open the freezer, find somebody to open the bread, find somebody to open the tissue, find somebody to open the washing powder, find somebody. You see what I'm saying? And by the time you do all that, you done took 5 hours to shop. And when you could sit online and have it delivered. and then the stores are getting closed down, and they say it's due to theft. Is that honestly the truth? So it's not always what they say, it's what they're not saying. We can blame it on theft. We can blame it on a lot of things, but honestly, I'd rather be prepared than scared. So let's look at the global scale of things. Let's look at the real part of things and start to get ready.
No, the thing that gives you the preparation for scared, like I said, is just research. Look at the
No,
companies.
I understand that part. That's why I rock with what you're saying, because this is
Yeah,
why I've been doing the research
yeah.
and looking into it, and then I want to hold a conversation,
Like for
right?
example, Sakina, try media innovation. Shameless plug, the company me, DQ, and Hit started, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Jersey, Hit's in New York, and DQ is in Texas. We might see each other a few times, but none of us plan to move. But when you do the forecast, the market forecast on the business that we started, we were able to start a business, register a business, start buying products for a business, plan the business, all around AI and social media innovation, technology, hip hop. Making sure that we stay that we're a one-stop shop for many things without ever actually being in the same room. And we did all of this in a matter of 2 weeks, starting a podcast in a matter of 3 weeks, started a product within a matter of a week and a half, a book. DQ just finished his bass fishing book in a week. So you're talking about things, yeah, you're talking about that's his book in the back. So you're looking at a situation where think about how long it took to even make a book before. So we are, we are trust me, when I say, there's a reason why these stores are in full support of Instacart, DoorDash, and things like that, and they don't mind locking up stuff in the store. You got Amazon has a store right now. It just opened up maybe about a year ago, so it's not just opened up. You don't ever have to talk to a person. You walk in, you put the stuff in the cart automatically itemizes it, automatically takes care of everything, and you walk out of the store without ever talking to a person. And it charges your card. I hate that my avatar is always laughing when I'm not. It looks insane. But you never have to actually leave ever. So now think about how fast that moves. Listen, if you're not gonna get involved in the speed, then like the sister said, so be it. like it is what it is. If you like right now, if your goal is to open up a hot dog stand, good luck. If your goal is to, if you want to open up a brick and mortar sneaker store, you probably would do a lot better with opening up an online sneaker store. A lot of times it's getting into the middle of the innovation, vertically integrate your business, and put yourself in a pretty good place. And then I'm gonna say one last thing about the children, Sakina. Sakina, we used to go outside. We was used to going outside. We used to go outside. We used to go to the park. We used to play basketball. We used to play football. We used to go places. When we were kids, we used to go to the mall and walk around the mall, and for nothing, they have $1 in our pocket. We used to just walk around because other people was walking around. Well, now you got kids, their whole life is on their Xbox, and the other half of their life is on their phone. They don't need to go to a brick and mortar store to go to the mall when they could just Venmo, buy it, and it'll be there tomorrow. These kids they have the most interesting conversations. If you ever have the chance, sit back and listen to your child on Xbox and those Xbox parties. They having more fun than we ever had. They talking to somebody in North Dakota, somebody else in California, somebody in India.
Yep. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, they having more fun, and that's I used to knock it, DQ. I used to be like, man, if you don't take your ASS outside and do some push-ups or something, go grab a rim or something. What's wrong with you? But no, when I thought about it, I'm like, why would I be mad that he's having a conversation with kids all over the country? And these aren't people that go outside. Now think about it, Sakina. If you're 13 and you don't go outside, you're 17 and you don't go outside. So at what point are you gonna say go to the store? No, I don't need to. I'm not going outside for nothing because I don't need to go outside. So, you have those challenges, and then too, Sakina, this is our fault. I'm all about personal responsibility. This is our fault too, because when COVID happened, there's no more snow days in the state of New York and New Jersey.
Seriously?
No, because now
they all up here. They all up
now
here.
that they did that remote learning through COVID, when it's a snow day, cool. Wake up, pull out that computer, and we still going to school. Every kid gets a Chromebook in the state of New York and New Jersey. So we can't.
Same here.
We can't blame them for they're just being prepared for an age that happens. But see, that's when you go into those mental health problems. These are also kids that can talk online to a faceless person in India or Hong Kong in a party, and they know each other's jokes, clothes, music, anime, all of that kind of stuff. But ask them to go outside and shake the hand of a stranger, and they can't do it. Ask them to just walk up to someone and say, "Hi, my name is John Jones, such and such." They can't do it, or they have challenges doing it. So when you solve some challenges, you create new challenges, and I think that balance is is where we are. I remember when Facebook created Meta during COVID. Remember? I guess they thought nobody was ever going back outside because they started selling houses online, whole communities online, businesses online. They thought we were just going to put on glasses and just live in computers. There's a great movie with Bruce Willis about that, where people wake up, go into another room, plug into the metaverse, and live their life. They're a policeman in the metaverse. They get a salary and everything. And they
what is that called? Blade Runner?
No, it's I'm gonna get the name before we go. It's with Bruce Willis. I'm gonna get it before we go. But you look at situations like that. This world is moving to an online marketplace, which is global. You don't know where that stuff is coming from. You don't know where these things are per se coming from. So I think rather than be afraid of it, before I get off, I'm gonna talk about some things you can do to help yourself in this new marketplace. But I think rather than be afraid of it and worry about necessarily what they're not telling us, is prepare for it. I always say and embrace it. Embrace
Come
it.
on.
You know what I mean?
That's where I'm at.
Exactly. So when you see things like that, when you see things and you see the wind changing, put on a coat.
Come on, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with the conversation. I'm just trying to say, let's be informed, because I thought somebody said I'm trying to freak out people and make them be scared. No, I don't want nobody to be scared, because I'm
That's what I thought. I don't want to scare
people.
people.
I don't want nobody to be scared.
Yeah.
I want people to be prepared and not be scared, because what I don't do is be in fear. At least for my kids. So if my kids don't think I'm in control, then what are they gonna think? Do you know what I'm saying?
Hey, TT, call me when you finish this. My phone going dead. I'm gonna charge it just a little bit.
So
Thanks for coming.
Some of the things. It's nice to meet you, boss. Some of the things
You too.
that you can do if you are in a trade or you are in a skill and you think AI is coming. Don't be too afraid, because even though there's displacement, technology also creates a lot of jobs too. So it could be directly related, like AI or robotics or something like that. But then also you got new fields that emerge as society adapts. Okay, yes, gas stations are going away for the gas station worker, but you can get a certificate to service the Tesla the charging station. So as things leave, new things come. You got to see that balance of job displacement versus creation. But there'll be jobs created, and I think also there'll be an increased demand for like high skill jobs too. And these are things where humans still, believe it or not, jobs that require creativity, problem
Mm-hmm.
solving, or simple things like interpersonal skills that
Mm-hmm.
robots do not have, or they
Yep.
have. They're working on it, but humans we still have an advantage over machines in regards to, those kinds of things. And what I would tell a person is, rather than try to learn a brand new trade, reskill in the trade that you have.
Mm-hmm.
If it's automation that's removing your job, learn about automation or upskill, transition into a new role. And that's the beauty of this. There's so many, and that's why this conversation is so beautiful, Sakina, because um, if you're not prepared, you definitely would be afraid. But one of the things that the government and social media is showing you, in between laughing at all of those memes, look at some of those courses that are like $150, something like that, where you learn certain new educational systems and new vocational systems and things like that. So, and then another good thing with automation is the things that we create, they'll grow more, productivity growth. So now you got a situation where it was one mango, like you were saying earlier, now to be 10,000 mangoes. Well, somebody got to manage these mangoes. Somebody got to sell these mangoes. Somebody got to clean these mangoes. Like, you have all of these kinds of things. Now there is inequality, but there was inequality before all of this. And one of the things that the government is doing, while everybody's worried about Trump and all this, that, and the other, when the government got rid of NAFTA and moved to USMCA, they moved a lot of
That
jobs
part.
back into the United States.
Yep.
And on top of that, in regards to AI and technology, a lot of the things that they did is they switched out a lot of things. These kids are learning about artificial intelligence now. They're learning
Mm-hmm.
about technology. I didn't learn, well, I did, but I didn't, I think in my middle school, we first started getting laptops and things like that. But now
Yep.
these kids are getting laptops in the first grade and learning
Mm-hmm.
how to use Chrome and different things like that. So the future is not bleak. That's not the whole point of technology. Technology is to take us into, if you follow any form of revolutions in the world, we had the Industrial Revolution. The jobs have always changed. Asking 100-year-old person now that was born in 1923, ask them what the world was like then.
Hmm.
And then flip it out 200 years from now. We joke around, me and DQ and Hit, about 100 years from now, Sakina, they're gonna look at us like savages because we was eating burgers. They're gonna look
I
at
gotta
us
get
like we
going
were,
because we're
they
travel
always
for
having
me.
these Black Egypt conversations and stuff. They don't, they
Yes.
talking about, they're gonna be looking at us like, y'all used to drive around in gas cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Y'all used to, it's different. It's just gonna be
Dickie,
different. It's not
drop
gonna
your
be good.
link in the chat. Drop that link in the chat for the prickles and what else is that? I seen. Just drop the link in the chat. I don't care.
Everything.
Yeah,
Kool-Aid,
we're gonna give you the
cucumbers,
commercials.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
got
like,
just
books.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
I
got
got
drop
books,
it.
everything.
push
Drop
coming.
it in the
We're gonna
chat
drop it.
for
We're gonna
me.
give you the commercials too. You're gonna be one of the first people. And actually,
Yes.
we about to make an announcement that nobody knows. We'll tell you something at the end of the month. We're starting our podcast online.
Come
So
on.
you,
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
actually, yeah, me, DQ and Hitch, Try Media. So we're gonna start our
Come
podcast.
on.
But the commercials will be dropping soon. You'll start seeing commercials for that. And like I said, Sakina, to tell all these other people that might be afraid, you know, there is a certain level of hustle that you're gonna have that you had before. If you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
learn AI, fine. Figure out a way to make some money
Get the
off of it. That's
program.
the beauty of technology.
Come on,
Or
because it's moving forward, whether with you or without you,
moving forward.
right? It's moving forward. So it's not going to be a person that's going to take your job per se, but you're going to have to definitely get with the program because, again, distribution is what America was built off of, y'all. And so we have to understand exactly what that is. And we know that that's part of the trade market.
Yep.
And market is part of global America and marketing is business. And we have to understand all of this as a whole, right? Because one hand washes the other. And so I'm not trying to say I use the immigrants as people, but people we're on the other side of that spectrum, and it's a give and take. And so I'm not saying that all the people as a whole, but we still have to have somebody on the other end. And if we looking at the whole, we have to have distribution. Otherwise, we just like y'all had to make it happen. And so we talking about things that's making it happen. If we have to make it happen for ourselves, or we're gonna have to join in and be a part of that bandwagon for ourselves, or a part of something else to be a connection to this distribution so that we can be a part of this, because globally it's taking off with us or without us.
Sister Drea said something very important when she was on. I know she, I'll let her get into the conversation, but I'm gonna take something that she said, and I've been using it ever since. People aren't afraid of capitalism; they're afraid of predatory capitalism. And they're not afraid to get in business. It's just the only thing that social media talks about is all the predatory parts of capitalism, the redlining, the forced labor, the things like that, etc. But when you look at just capitalism, she just pushed a company that I actually invest in, Market America. Market America has helped people. I worked with a rapper out here from the Bronx. He was one of the major marketers of Market America, and he did some presentations and things out here. So I was working with him to facilitate that with some of the young kids that I work with. And you know, this guy, he diversified. Fat Joe, he was like the face of Market America for a time being. And he came out here, he did a bunch of presentations, he made a bunch of money, and he wasn't marketing anything other than Market America. It's just like Amazon. But you know what? It's like you become a marketer, you become Jeff Bezos in and of yourself. You are the person that's marketing the items. You know, my avatar. I really gotta get rid of this avatar laughing. It's just tripping me out. But but she was like, even when she was saying about the predatory capitalism is terrible for everybody. There's no race involved. But like I always say, if you are the consumer, now we're just talking about capitalism, not predatory. But for just capitalism, if all you're gonna be is the consumer in capitalism, then I would be upset too. But you're just upset at the wrong person, yourself. If all you're gonna do is buy and spend, and never invest, never get life insurance, never try to turn one of your hobbies into a business, try to make any kind of thing in a world where you could become the CEO of your own food delivery company called DoorDash or Uber Eats in your spare time. If all you want to be is a consumer, then I would hate capitalism also.
Makes sense.
Facts. Because I think what's his name? Robert Kiyosaki said it best. If you are broke during the time where you can literally make money from your phone, you're the idiot.
Cash flow quadrant.
Your
I'm
fault.
very familiar with Kiyosaki. Me and DQ was talking about cash flow quadrant the other day. You just on the wrong side of the quadrant.
That's it.
You the consumer. All you do is buy stuff. You feel used. If all you do, that's it. Even in a relationship, Sakina. If you in this relationship and all you do is give, and the other person is take, how successful? Yeah. My avatar just laughing away at the most. And you know what's funny? My avatar only laughs at the most poignant moments.
Critical points.
To be dead serious. But when if you're in a relationship and all you do is give, and the other thing is taking, that is not a relationship that works.
No.
It's not a good relationship that works. So, participate. Get off the bench and get in the game.
Right, consumers consume. Right? That's all they do is take. Right? And they give to what? Consume. That's something to hold on to. They spend up their money to hold on. Consuming. This, that, the other. Take. And they're giving to self. They're not trying to, you know what I'm saying? The values.
Yeah, you're not trying to add anything to the marketplace. Instead of one shoe, you want 6 shoes. When in all actuality, you can create a pair of shoes. This is a world where you can send over the schematic of a shoe, have that shoe back to you within 30 days, wear your own clothing, sell your own clothing. Kanye is crazy, but I'm gonna tell you something. He crazy like a fox.
Mm-hmm.
That
Jeez.
man, what he did with that $7 million for that Super Bowl commercial that took $0 in production, sold $37 million worth of product in 24 hours.
Don't that make
Now,
sense?
like, I mean, come on. And then now, see, people, but see, I focus on vertical integration. DQ probably about to kill me for saying this, but nobody's paying attention to the fact that he got emails for all of those people. Not only when he sold all of that stuff, he mapped out the entire United States. And now when he wants to go on a tour, he knows where he can go because these people follow him more. I mean, he took that $7 million investment and probably turned it into $100 million in 5 years worth of business.
Hey, I got one, Brad. I got one, Brad. Even doper, how he used that for market research to gauge which product people wanted, because everything was the same price. Shoes, socks, shirts. What sold the most? Shoes. What I'm about to hit y'all with? Some shoes.
Shoes.
Like the man a genius. Like I know like he killed two birds with one stone. He killed a flock of geese with one stone right there.
And most people don't make it back when you disrespect the community that he disrespected. Most people don't make it back.
Oh,
that's all I'm gonna say. Most people do not make it back when they have that conversation. When they have that, they just don't do that. I'll go you even further since we're gonna one up. All of that stuff was pre-order.
All pre-orders.
That means that he paid for the product
to go get made
with the sale. Rather than putting up his own money for the
they already bought the bricks for double. Yeah, they already bought them.
Yeah, the Google Analytics. People despise the internet, but they don't pay attention to the analytics.
Yep.
Not even. Guess what? He had 300,000 people purchase something not from the Adidas site, but from his site.
Yep.
So now, if you look at that, that's 4 million people visited his site alone. He could take those ads and that traffic, go market to Google and other companies and make money off of that. See, this is what I mean. We're like Tri-Media Innovations. We're not just up here just playing games and this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? Sakina, you know how these people argue in these communities. You don't see us doing that. We don't see us doing that while y'all arguing and y'all trying to figure out who you was 5 million years ago.
You know what I'm saying? While y'all stretched out, we always stretched out somewhere chilling.
We need to link up. Like we need to link up.
We stretched out chilling with an umbrella, right? And they over there stressed out, hair falling out, and we over here stretched out, chilling.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
In the Red Queens race, working super hard just to stay in the same place. You just never confuse, like my man Hits always tells me. You know,
that's it.
Never confuse productivity with activity.
There you go.
Can run in place.
Right, because again, we talking about supply and demand, right? Because he supplied the demand. What was demand? The demand was shoes and socks. He supplied that demand. And he gave, you see what I'm saying? We're still talking about the basics again, globally. He took that globally and he looked at what was needed and he supplied the demand and he hit them hard. You get what I'm saying? So that's why we have to look at these things at a deeper, right? We can't just look at surfacely. That's why I love talking to y'all. I really appreciate y'all coming in so we can have these conversations. They are real. Listen, I love it, right? Because we have to go in deep with them so that we can know. People have to really think about what we're saying, right? So we cannot just say it's a problem, and really go into why and no, it's not a problem. We have to look for the solution within the problem and lay back on it. And now you know why you buying in bulk, but don't buy more than you need. Why you should act this way. Why do we do the things we do? That's why when I said my mom bought pigs and cows for the family, instead of constantly going back and forth to the store, buying a pack of this, a pack of this, a pack of this, a pack of this, a pack. pack of this. Well, she bought a half a hog. She bought a half a cow or a cow. That might last us for the winter. That might have lasted for the summer. Then she had us go out to the farm. It raised us with different kinds of morals and values and this and that. But it also raised us healthy at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So it gave us all kind of different values and morals and respect, and we learned a whole another way all at the same time, because I'm not a country girl, but I was raised with country morals and values still in the city. So it gave me a different perspective on things, and I appreciate those things. So I look at things a whole lot different. Right. And so, yeah, we spend our money. I pinch it. I hold $1 till it holler. You damn right I will. Right. Because right, them rainy days, and even then it might not be raining hard enough. You see what I'm saying? So I appreciate things, and I appreciate people. I appreciate days. I honestly do. I don't take nothing for granted, but that don't mean that I don't be taken for granted. Right, but we have to learn when to turn away, when to do everything in life. But if we're not going to teach people the right thing, then what are we actually doing?
What are you talking about? Yep.
But Sakina, let me say this: I appreciate you. It's always a privilege, not a right, to get up on these panels and spend time with you. I don't participate in every conversation, but some conversations I will come on and speak, because I mean, just like you, I got other stuff to do, but when I can come in and participate and help you grow your business, help you grow your brand, and give you thought things, it's a privilege that you allowed me to speak. And Drea, it's always cool. Sakina got our information. Just send us whatever you need. And like I said, like I told you before, we'll help. But on that note, I gotta go.
Appreciate you.
But I appreciate. I want to be very clear. I'm very appreciative. Because you're doing it the right way. You're vertically integrated your business. You out here in the arena fighting, and and I don't like critics, so I'm gonna support and do anything that I can. And then that way, when you get to where you are, I can say that she always had it in her to get to where she needed to be, and I played a small part in it, and celebrate you rather than try to tear you down. So thank you very much.
Amen.
I gotta step on that note. Thanks, Sakina. I'll hit you up later,
Thank
DQ.
you
See you
so
later,
much,
Drea.
Brad. I
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
I'll be
for
reaching
coming.
out to you, Brass. And you too, DQ.
Hey, you already know. I'm gonna hang in here for about 10 more minutes. I'm slide out. But yeah, it's all
Me too.
good.
We definitely gonna have to have you again, DQ, so you can talk about this book and everything.
Yeah. My book just it's for pre-order right now on Amazon. It's
Okay.
Available for Kindle. It releases Tuesday. I'm trying to get my I get my link. Yeah, I get my link for my physical copies. I'm waiting on that. I should get that within the next 24 hours. So as soon as I get that link, I'm gonna shoot everybody. Yeah, my first book, many more to come. Making it happen, man. Try me the innovations.
Well, I'm gonna wait because I want my book signed, so I might have to wait so I can get the link to send the money, because I don't want to be ordering my book where it ain't gonna get signed.
I got you. I got a couple requests people want to sign. I'm dropping that with I got a new project that's coming. I got so much stuff, and I stay working. So yeah, it's about to be nice.
Oh, it's about fishing?
Yeah. You can see right there.
Okay,
Yeah, exploring.
I'm gonna buy it for my brother. I'm gonna have you sign it. Well, I'm gonna buy it too. I'm gonna buy it too. And so
I'm a country boy. So
fishing.
My brother.
I've always wanted to learn how to fish.
Yeah, my brother fish. So I'm gonna buy one for him, and then I'm only one of my brothers fish. So that's the only one. The one whose birthday was yesterday.
I was about to say, is it Terry?
Yeah, David don't fish. David David is not going. Still no fish. David ain't gonna touch no worm, I don't think. David gonna be like, no.
Yup. No.
Right, Johnny ain't gonna touch no worm either. Right, my oldest brother Johnny been working at Red Lobster since he was 19. Johnny about 64,
Where
right?
he at?
Um, Johnny living his life. Johnny, listen, he he's one of the he been there so long. He's one of the almost like investor owner, almost like
Here in
in Durban.
Wisconsin?
Yeah, he in Wisconsin still. You know,
That's what's up.
Johnny, one of them brothers that pop up on you. I'll be like, Johnny, you still our brother.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, you know, that's the brother. Yeah, he be there, but you got to run up on him because he took himself real bad. That's my brother though. I love him, but yeah, when he show up, they be like, "Who here?" We be like, "Yay!"
Uh-uh.
Yeah,
Heck
because
no.
he always working. He work. That's all he do. He work. That's it. That's it. That's it.
That's how I know myself and see me, because I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest of my little tribe. So they know when I
See?
pop up to an event, it's
Right. They
up.
be like, "Is
It's
you our
up.
brother?" And you be
They
like,
know.
"Yeah, stop playing. You know I'm your brother."
There's no, we always talk. Like, we talk every day. That's one thing about I said, we close as hell. But they know I'm always somewhere traveling. I fuck around and be in New York, be in LA. I'm always somewhere. So yeah, when I do get time to come to an event, I'm popping out.
See, that's how he was when we was younger, but when we got older,
Life happened. Yeah.
yeah, life happened. It was over. It was all the way over. I remember one time I had to pull up at his job like, "Yarr!
Uh-uh.
Ah, I ain't seen you in so long." So I had to, yeah, it was like that. He was like, "Okay." I had to kidnap him for 2, 3 days and let him spend the night in my house for a couple of days. 'Cause I ain't seen, you know, when you miss your family, you ain't seen them in a while. Like, damn, brother, where
Yeah.
you been? Right. Like, damn.
See, now I'm an only child. Well, I need to
I
stop
don't
saying that
see
because
you
I
on
got a
milk
brother,
carton.
but it's like I'm an only child. So, but I was raised as an only child. My father has another has a son, but we just met when I turned 30. So we don't have that connection. So I'm
Are
like,
you
when
gonna
I hear stories like that, I'm like, yeah, man. I wish I knew what that felt like.
try to build one with him?
Yeah, of course. Like we talk, but
Oh, okay.
it's different if we would have just, came up together. But obviously we didn't have that opportunity. But of course, my blood, I want to know my clan, people I share blood with.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
important. I was talking about that earlier, with everything that we're talking about, especially with this new generation coming up. It says something about how America has groomed us to be so separate, just separated from each other.
Yeah.
And that's going to come back to bite us in the butt. That's one of the things that I'm afraid of for the newer generation when it comes time to actually get together. Like now, all this stuff, if we actually had the sense of community that our ancestors had, the government would not have had the gall to pull half the crap that they're pulling.
Mm.
And the fact that we are so distracted by just being by ourselves and scrolling memes and instant one hit dopamine hits and stuff on from TikTok and Facebook and laughing at reels that we don't really get together and have these conversations in person and in secret and out of the public eye. Everything is for a laugh, everything is for a meme or a joke. We don't have that sense of community, and that's something that I see is going to be a huge problem in the future if we don't
Yeah.
get it together. I mean, globalism is nice. I mean, it connects us to the world, but at the same time, there has to be a balance. We seem to be the only country, well, I don't want to say the only country, but one of the few countries that have that issue where we're so consumed with, being on the internet that we don't get outside anymore. We don't get together in community groups anymore. You go talk to like the Asians, they're real strong in community, even though they participate in globalism just like the rest of us do. The Hispanics are really strong in community, or Hispanic countries are. The Africans, of course, are really strong in community. Just like I was saying with that young lady with you on Uganda, that lives in Uganda, she didn't have something and she went over to one of her neighbors and they gave it to her. And then later on, the neighbors started to have a fight. The whole community rallied so that they can establish a sense of peace to keep them from tearing each other apart. And that's something that we don't have over here. Like, we would rather kick the next man while he's down instead of, or pointing our phone out so that we can catch the next big moment, instead of actually coming together and being like, yo, you know what? This is somebody in my community and they're screaming out for help. I'm pretty sure that the young man or young lady that was peeing on the potatoes, if the community got behind them and they felt comfortable enough to actually come and felt supported, they probably wouldn't have been pissing on the tomato or potatoes up in the grocery stores.
Exactly.
Our isolation is playing a large part into our mental health. We're social creatures. We're meant to be around other people for a reason.
But that was prior to COVID. That's the whole thing.
I understand.
I
understand, but I'm just saying in general, like, we were separate. We were really separate long before COVID, but COVID just seems to have made it worse.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember the last time I've seen children playing outside.
Yeah.
In the spring, summer, fall, or winter.
That's major.
I'm just hoping that that's something that we can seriously come together and remedy, because we are going to need each other. Like, they have experts are saying, because part of my duty in being in the life insurance industry is I have to keep up on what's going on in the markets, and experts are saying that we're going to the commercial real estate industry is headed towards a crisis that is going to be worse than the 2008, and it's going to bleed into the residential real estate. As we can see, rent is getting higher and higher, inflation is getting higher and higher, taxes are increasing, jobs are being cut off. So petty crimes like theft, larceny, they're last year they said they're going to rise by 60% by this year. So we're going to see more stores being robbed. We're going to see more people being robbed. We're going to see more people being shot and killed over petty stuff. And they're saying now that we went from having one income being able to support households to now needing 2 and 3. And that's only expected to get worse over the next 5 years. So we really need to get back to community. We really need to get back to unity, because that's the only way we're really going to be able to make it. I really, really, really do hope that we start getting it in the gear and start paying attention to what's going around us. Like, pay attention to what's going on with these you see CEOs stepping down, which more are expected to start stepping down as the economy becomes more volatile. Wake up, pay attention. Something's getting ready to come. Something's getting ready to happen. This is an election year. So get ready to see inflated market prices and a more stable, quote unquote, stock market, because they like to do that at every election year to give us a false sense of security that the economy is okay and on the rise. And then as we see the following year, after everybody's gotten into office and everything is settled, the market becomes more volatile because they just falsely inflated this market. So we need to just start being more aware. I mean, I understand. I remember we were talking on our first podcast together. Everybody wants to be woke. We need to wake up at this point, because we are running out of time.
I want you to start expounding, because I want you to come back to or I want you to tell or inform them about when you're going to talk about marketing America. Because yes, because this global distribution and trying to be responsible or having the knowledge, because again, I want to also talk with DQ about the book, and that inspiring, because we know that we have our testaments and our testimonies, and working on what we know is in our corner, what's best for us, knowing ourselves and being true to that. And I love the innovation of him and Brass, and how they came together or whatever, but I'm not working on that. I'm talking about DQ. DQ has an amazing story on his own, and then the book. So I want to get into the innovation of DQ. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, let me say this. I appreciate that, girl. I gotta have you say that for me before I say a speech. But like I say, I'm getting ready to hop off. Gotta hop on some daddy to do this. I'm definitely gonna hop on the next show, and I'm gonna spell all that for you. I
All right,
appreciate
I
the
really
time
appreciate
on
that.
this. No problem.
Thank
Y'all have a
you.
blessed one.
Thank you.
Have
Did
a
you
good
make
one.
sure I want you to make sure you pin or drop that information in the link so that
Now listen,
everybody.
look in the back chat. Look in the back chat. I
Okay.
sent you the email. You got the link.
All right. I sure enough will. So I can also do that as well. I'm gonna put that in the link, and
That's a
then
bit.
got you for sure.
Y'all have a
Listen,
blessed one.
you too, and
You
I
too.
appreciate
Have a good
you
night.
for coming in.
No problem.
Thank you so much, DQ.
Peace.
Appreciate it. Now, Dre, I need you to make sure you do that, because this is going to be the kickoff for the spinoff. Because again, global distribution, and each one teach one is going to reach one tonight, because we need to be prepared and preparing ourselves, because all of us don't have green thumbs, and all of us don't know about telling communication. And that communicative part is, all of us can't grow gardens. All of us are not going to be able to grow certain things. We can grow herbs and whatnot, and certain things we can grow in a garden in our homes. All of us don't live down south. All of us don't have green thumbs. All of us are not going to be able to do all of these things. So, but the things that we can do, and the things that we are able to do, and while we gonna be putting our hands in the forefront is doing what we know. And what I know is buying the things that we can control. And if we can control that, seeing what the world is doing, and keeping up with what we can control. I can't worry about what I can't do, but what I can do is the things I can control. And I can control what I can shop for and how I shop, and the way it comes out. And right now we have a array of marketing, and I know so much and yet so little about what Dre is talking about. So again, I want you to expound a little bit about what's up and coming from you.
You want me to do that now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll give you a brief snippet. So, as far as like what you want me to talk about on the next podcast,
What you have up and coming?
so pretty much I'm going to show you all how to save money on stuff that you are already spending on. That is one of the things that Market America has strived to do, is give power back to the consumer. We're talking about how consumerism is a problem and how we don't really get any benefits or rewards from it. Market America allows you to earn cash back that you can either save or you can use it to spend on other purchases. I call it annuitize your spending. In the future, I also want to show you all how and what you can do on the life insurance side to protect yourself, not just for death, but also how to use life insurance properly to pay off debts, how to use life insurance to lower your taxable income at retirement, how to get a tax-free life or a tax-free retirement, how you can use life insurance to provide to how you can utilize life insurance for things like college funds. That's another sector that I have used my life insurance for, which is college planning. It's an awesome tool that can be used to help increase your students' odds of receiving what is called need-based financial aid, particularly because these types of life insurance policies that allow you to accumulate cash value is not counted depending on which college you're looking at. If you're looking at a more private sector, then it could be counted depending on the school, but overall is not counted as income that can be counted against you or your student as they're preparing for financial aid. So pretty much I just want to show you all, also going back to the Market America side, how you can actually, because entrepreneurship is on the rise,
Yes.
you can use Market America as an asset and as a business opportunity. You pick your own team, and everybody in your team makes 100% of 100%. Market America is, I have been with other businesses before, and Market America is definitely has the best business plan out there of all the other businesses I have ever seen. Because everybody on your team makes 100% of 100%. And then I can also show you how you can get started if you are looking to get into the financial aid or financial services industry, how you can get started by doing that and providing yourself with a nice, with the ability to fish for some big fish. So that may be a 2 or 3 part, because there's a lot to go in depth with when it comes to Market America, when it comes to the life insurance, when it comes to the college planning as well. But it's just tools that I want to start equipping people with before 2030 comes, and before your households are affected by what we've been talking about all day, or for the past 2 or 3 hours, which is AI automation. Because the fact of the matter is, it is coming. So you can either jump on the bus or get ran over. And if you see the value in this, or even if you don't see the value in this, find something that you can get yourself into where you won't be one of those people that are like, man, I waited too late and now I'm scrambling to find some way to support myself. Me personally, I'm 36 years old, so I don't plan on dying tomorrow, and I damn sure don't plan on dying in 30 years. So I'm trying to set myself up as well as possible to have multiple streams of income, because that's going to be the key to surviving in an economy that's approaching such volatility like our economy, as humanly possible, and something that can build residual income as well. And if you don't know residual income is pretty much income that you're not working for. It's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. It's just, I wish that we can stop looking at these opportunities and saying, oh, it's a scam, when really this can be our ticket to prosperity. Which really, in a lot of cases, that's exactly what it is. It's a ticket to prosperity. Because again, like I was saying, in terms of Market America, the Jewish community, the Asian community, the Spanish community, they all look at these opportunities and they excel in them. But it's the Black community across the board that is just skeptical of all the opportunities that can actually help strengthen the financial well-being of the family and the community as a whole. So
Yeah.
that's what I have planned for you all. And I hope that I'm able to provide a lot of value in those areas.
Yes.
That's all I got.
Well, I want to thank everybody that came out tonight, and let me give a shout out to all of the mods. Let me say again, peace to Roundtable Gang. That's my nephew Jay, Chambre Marcus. Peace to Black Mills and Brass and Gemini. And peace to my inspiration, James Davis. And peace to Burn Dog, my little brother. Peace to Shaking My Head 369. Good Lord, have mercy. Let me see who else in the house. Peace to M. And I always get this wrong. New peace to new hits. Listen, my Muddle Netter is so messed up, and I had a Muddle Netter lesson, but it was in hieratic. It was in hieratic, but it was moved to a different level. Somebody Nubian, not Nubian. They were. Listen, he was a prophet from um, overseas. He was real. Oh my goodness, I was on a roundtable game. Listen, we had a deep conversation. I loved it. Listen, I can't wait for Jay to come up here one day. I told him I cannot wait. I'm gonna bring my nephew roundtable gang up here. I love the way he goes in. He does such great research. But long story short, it just made me understand or realize I need to really restudy my metal netter all over again because it's been a couple of years and uh, yeah, the rust is real. That's one of those things like um, once you learn your medication transcribing, you can't leave it alone. Otherwise, you're gonna start missing it. Like when you get into cardi and ology and all of those things. Ology means the study of. So if you stop, you know what I'm saying. And cardi also always means something to do with your heart. And so you once you start missing or fall off, you start to forget some of these things. So you'll forget these things. That's what I mean. Period. So you'll not know what it means. So anything has anything with ology on it, you know it deals with history, right? Rather it says cardiology, that's the history of the heart. Rather it say biology, that's the history of whatever, you know, the person. Or you know what I'm saying? We just know historyology or whatever. It's just the history of whatever. That's the ology. So we just know that kind of stuff. So that's the metal netter. It's a translation of all of those symbols, all of that, the wording, the first translation of words, letters, symbols, and they made it into Coptic and demonic, and all of those other things came from the metal netter, right? Transliteration, all of that came from there. What you want to call it, Arabic, and then you can call it Greek, and then you can call it Hebrew, but all of those writings came from that cryptic. You can call it all of that. All of that came from the Medu Netter, and so, um, right. So what I won't do is try to tell you what somebody else tried to influence and make it say, because once it got somewhere else and what they tried to say, what it said, I don't know. Because the metal netter reads one way and one way only. Now, once it became somewhere else, and you're trying to say it's uh they use it over here now. Ooh, oh, Drea left off. Well, with that being said, I'm just gonna say because I'm rambling anyway. I'm gonna say peace, and I love everybody, and I again thank y'all so much for showing up and showing out with us with this deep conversation of global distribution. And again, it's not to scare anybody; it's to prepare everybody for what's to come, right? Because again, we are all pretty much shopping online one way or another, but we're gonna have to think about the overall. And the overall is, are we gonna be shopping online at a greater scale? And the answer is yes. We're already having, let me add this piece in. We're already being given choices with even buying dinners to like HelloFresh, Blue Apron, Misfit Market, and Imperfect Foods. So to look at marketing in America and to be even in better control of your foods, and even maybe making a few dollars at the end of the day with that, being in control of it, being in control of your marketing. Okay, and so with that being said, enjoy your week and enjoy the weekend, what's left of it, right? Because we can have all kind of conversations and talk about everything, but what we're not going to do is argue about anything. And with that, I would like to say again, thank you all for coming. Again, I love you with all I have. Shemin Hotep, and I'll see you soon.